Back to Mysteries in Black and White with your two hosts, me, Ed, and my man, Josh. Today we are doing, would you say it's conspiracy?
Not in the relative term like conspiracy, but I would say there are conspiracy aspects around it because of the cover-up that was being done and everything, attempted,
right,
and the just ultimate fuck-up.
Right.
So...
And if you can't guess, we did say on our last episode that this is going to be on the tragic events of the Chernobyl nuclear power station.
Yep.
Which is in Ukraine. The war's going on at the minute.
Yeah.
Like, fucking hell. But also, as well, what we've heard in the last week, I mean, this will already be a week old by the time it gets out, but we're on about the Texas shooting.
Yeah.
Mass shooting which took away 19 kids, 19 kids, two or three adults.
Yeah.
What is it with these deluded fucks and schools with innocent children?
Oh, I really don't fucking know. And the fact that this one's an elementary school as well.
Yeah, I know.
Which is our, if you're living in the UK, is our equivalent to a primary school.
Yeah.
I think the kids age from, I think they said...
9 and 10.
Yeah, 9 and 10.
That's nearly the age of my niece. And that is... Oh, it's absolutely heartbreaking.
Yeah, too right.
I mean, our thoughts and prayers go out to the families who've lost their loved ones, but America sort the fucker out.
Yeah,
man.
It's beyond a fucking joke now. Way beyond a fucking joke.
I mean, we can't do anything. We're just a couple of podcasters, but America, they need to sort it out.
100%.
I think, isn't this the 20th or 24th mass shooting this year?
Yeah, I think it is, yeah.
Like fucking hell.
What more needs to happen?
Right. And what wound me up as well with that, Joe Biden went out and saw the victims' families. Sorry, what the fuck is that going to do?
Yeah. It's not going to exactly, that sounded horrible, it's not going to bring him back.
No. He said, we've got to sort something out. Yeah, you're the man.
You're the one that's fucking capable of doing that, you silly cunt.
Yeah. They have got to bring in gun control. I mean, people who know me, I like the idea of hunting. I like, and that.
Yeah.
I'd like to have
hunting for food though, not trophy hunting.
Oh yeah. I like it. I like the idea of having a rifle and stuff, and also home protection and everything like that. But yeah, it's beyond a joke how easy it is to get weaponry.
The fact that that's easier to get than a Kinder Egg toy over there.
Yeah,
Kinder Eggs are illegal, but a gun isn't.
Exactly.
So what fucking planet are you living on?
No, it is absolutely disgusting. So our thoughts and prayers do go out to the victims' families.
Yeah.
Anyone who is affected by this, because, like you say, this isn't the first time it's happened. I mean, we had Sandy Hook and stuff like that.
And that was what? That was
2012.
2012, exactly. 10 years ago. Bloody hell.
Yeah. So now it's becoming a recurring thing, and it really shouldn't. I mean, the last school shooting in England was in the 90s.
Yeah, exactly.
I know, UK, I think that was in Scotland now.
Yeah.
They really batten down on gun control, and if we haven't had one since.
No.
Don't get me wrong, we do get little cunts out there who chefing up, who stab up people.
But the thing is as well with knife crime and everything is you can't exactly ban knives because they're kitchen appliances, kitchen knives and things. They're you use them in cooking and things like that. So you can't ban that.
No.
There's a massive difference. Granted, something needs to be done about knife control. But there's a massive difference between knife crime and gun crime. How difficult it is here in the UK and other parts of the world to get a gun it's nigh on impossible.
Oh, it is. You've got to have so many checks. They come around, they have to check your house. You have to have special cabinets and everything like that. There is a lot to it. Because I looked into it, because that's how I'd like a gun to go hunting and stuff. That's fucking near on impossible to do in this country as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Hunting, but I've always liked the idea of doing that so I can hunt for my own food and not getting mass-produced shit, basically.
Yeah. we was on about it yesterday.
Last night,
It's one is to cleanest and quickest death that animal's going to have. Because even if it doesn't get like butchered in like a slaughterhouse or anything, it's probably going to get diseased or eat. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? It's the quickest and cleanest death it's going to have. Yeah. And there's nothing getting pumped into it.
Exactly. And as well, the animal is living its life. It is living its life how it should be, in the woods, in the forest.
Yeah.
That's the way it should be.
Yeah.
It's not going to tell me vegetarian now or vegan, because...
God, no. I like meat too much.
Yeah, 100%. People know me. I love my meat. I'd go full on carnivore if I could, but nah. So, but yeah, it is good. It is good that how they've controlled it here, and in other countries like Australia, and other countries like that. But America, they've got to do something about it. They really took a back step on this.
Yeah, royally, because like you said earlier, with it being like 20, would you say 20 odds this year?
Yeah.
Sad reality is, it's not going to be the last.
No, 100%,
there's going to be countless more.
No, it's never going to be like that.
And I'm not a parent myself, but I bet every parent out there, especially in America, to have that fear that your kid's going to school, that every person on this planet, well, not every person, there are, but like the majority of the population has had the privilege to do, or have had to do.
You should be your safest.
Yeah, exactly. You're there to learn to make your life better for when you become an adult. And the thought of a parent sitting there wondering, this could happen at any moment.
Yeah, you can understand why people don't want to send their kids to school. Like,
no way.
It is disgraceful, really.
Like. It is. And then it pisses me off as well, where it's like 9 times out of 10 when the shooters have been either killed or whatever, arrested, and then they find out there's like they've got mental health problems or something like that. It's like, so how are they able to get a fucking gun then?
I know. I was going to say, like, especially now in this day and age, how mental health is such not a rising problem, but it's coming out.
Yeah,
it's coming out. Like we spoke about our own mental problems.
Yeah,
but with that, you think they'd be more inclined with that, like with the times kind of thing, to
well, yeah, you'd think at the
manage it.
At the bare minimum, there'd be you'd have to do a mental health background check to make sure, for lack of a better word, you're sane enough to own a gun.
Yeah, are they going to hurt anyone or even themselves? Like, it is. I know it's all like their Second
Amendment,
Second Amendment, and all that bollocks. Yeah,
I'm not being funny. At the same time, I think it was Russell Howard who mentioned it.
Yeah.
The Second Amendment was written in the 1800s.
Yeah.
Look at the guns they had then compared to now.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, it needs changing. And you can't say you can't change the Second Amendment because it's been changed multiple times. Yeah. Every fucking amendment has.
Oh, 100%.
So you can't hide behind that bollocks.
But yeah, they really do need to sort themselves out. Sort it out. I mean, let's say Biden, you need to fucking have a little word with yourself.
Yeah, too right.
You old fuck. Get some control out there, because if not, how many more innocent children have got to die?
Exactly. That's the cut-off point, you'd think. Like, when children are involved, that's when you're like, okay, this shit needs dealing with now.
Yeah, like how many... Honestly, that is what I'd ask him. How many more children have got to be fucking butchered, shot up, before they say, actually, I think we do need to do something here?
Well, yeah, exactly. Because, as well, the same things keep recurring. You have an incident like this take place, and then it goes to, you got your few days of mourning, president or whatever, come out, thoughts and prayers, all that sort of thing. Within a week, it's forgotten about.
Pretty much, yeah.
But the families of the victims, it's never going to go away. They're never going to forget what happened.
No, because they're going to blame themselves. We sent our child to school that day.
Yeah.
For them to be massacred.
The guilt they must be riddled with, mate. And it's like, it's not even remotely their fault. How can you feel guilty for sending your child to school?
Yeah.
You shouldn't. Do you know what I mean? The last place you'd think for a shooting to happen.
Yeah. It should be the safest place.
Yeah, exactly. It's beyond a fucking joke. It really is.
It really is. It is fucking... There's no words to describe.
No, there really ain't.
How bad it is.
It is royally bad.
You'd have thought with what happened 10 years ago with Sandy Hook, you'd think that would be a fucking wake up.
Yeah, you'd think that would be it. Right, it's happened before. We ain't letting it happen again. Yeah, because I'm not being funny. You can look at other things that have happened through time. i.e. with what we're going to talk about with today, with Chernobyl. That accident happened. They rectified it so it couldn't happen again. With 9/11, you had obviously the terrorist attacks and all that, regardless of who caused it and all that. But then look at like airport security now compared to now.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? That's the bittersweet thing about a mistake. You learn from it so it doesn't happen again.
Exactly.
So why is this being able to happen time and time and time and time again?
Yeah. No, that is. You just I just want to like beat him up.
Yeah,
you know
you do, don't you? You just want to just grab him by the fucking neck and just like sort it out, cunt.
You geriatric stuff. Oh God. No, but so yeah, our thoughts and prayers are with the victims' families. It can't do nothing. It can't bring them back.
No, but do you know?
Yeah, we're here for what?
We're doing that very little that we can. It's just offering sympathy.
Yeah, that's it. That's all you can do.
Yeah,
and it's so sad because you want
to help, but
you can't.
No,
you can't, and not until they can help.
It's just the sad sickness of it. The people that can help are the ones that aren't doing fuck all.
No, that's it. They're just hiding behind their ivory towers.
Yeah,
fucking bastards. But I can't even sound a brighter note because what we're talking about is not fucking bright, is it? Like, but on the subject at hand, we're talking about the tragic Chernobyl disaster.
Yeah.
Which, if you don't know, like I don't really know the time of day, but that is when reactor 4 blew up. Am I right?
Yeah.
And it just released so much radioactive.
Right. Yeah.
And it killed countless people. I mean, people are probably still dying today.
Yeah, well, they are.
Yeah.
Well, the actual I'll go in depth about it, but the actual death toll, official recorded death toll, only stands at 31. But the World Health Organization has said at least 4,000 people were killed.
Yeah.
And to this day, this number's still growing. Chernobyl has caused at least 5,000 cases of cancer, mainly thyroid cancer.
Oh, right.
Because obviously you're breathing it in, so it's going to affect your throat first, isn't it? Yeah. But
Josh, give us the details, mate. Go straight into it.
Right. So, as I said, on the April 26th, 1986, reactor number 4 of the Chernobyl nuclear power plant exploded. Now, the event occurred near the city of Pripyat in the northern part of Ukraine, which during the time was also part of the Soviet Union. The city of Pripyat, which was based 1 mile away from the plant, was actually built to house the workers of the plant. Mm-hmm. And Pripyat was considered to be like the perfect model city. You look at, I don't know, like Monaco-esque. It was Monaco, do you know what I mean? It was just top-notch, top-tier, best of the best. And the average age of the residents there was only 24 years old.
Oh, really?
Because obviously the workers were all relatively young, and that's where they lived, so... Now, after the explosion, the Pripyat residents were told that they would only be evacuated for a few days. And as we know now in history, they've never returned.
No.
For obvious reasons. And as I said, the official recorded death toll only stands at 31. However, the true death toll, according to the World Health Organization, is said to be around 4,000 people.
Fucking hell.
And again, it is known to have caused at least 5,000 cases of cancer, and that number is still growing to this day.
Yeah.
The decontamination cleanup effort required 500,000 workers and actually bankrupted the Soviet Union.
Did it?
Yeah, because the then Soviet leader Mikhail Gorbachev later on in life admitted that this accident was perhaps the true reason for the collapse of the Soviet Union.
Fucking hell.
Because it was this, along with like the Soviets' attempt to hide the truth, that led Ukraine onto the path to becoming an independent country.
Right, okay.
And Chernobyl was also considered to be, in terms of costs and casualties, the worst nuclear disaster in history.
Well, yeah, it's quite obvious.
It's quite obvious, yeah. So they're like the main, that's the main premise of the story. Right. Obviously, I'll go in depth of things that happened before, during, and after, and so on.
But like say on our previous episode, we discussed about Mothman, and apparently a Mothman was seen.
Yeah, at Chernobyl.
At Chernobyl, and they say it's the harbinger of doom. So
yeah.
It you know.
So
you wanted to, I tell you, to fucking win lottery numbers, this cunt.
Well, yeah, too right. So yeah, if he does exist and you see him, fucking run.
Yeah,
just don't stop running. So I'll get on with the problems before the incident, because obviously that's the best place to start. So Chernobyl was known as an RBMK reactor, don't know what RBMK reactor means. I have seen it before, but I just can't remember off the top of my head.
Right.
And it was classified, the whole reactor was classified due to the fact that RBMK reactors actually make the ingredients used for an atomic bomb.
Right, okay. Oh, so it was like their bomb factory.
More or less. Yeah. I mean, it powered Ukraine.
Yeah.
But secretly, they do reckon
like
they were.
Hustle.
Yeah, they do reckon they were building.
Yeah.
The materials or whatever. And the government body that developed the RBMK reactor was also the same ministry responsible for creating the Soviets' nuclear bombs.
Right.
So, do you know what I mean? When it comes to this sort of shit, he knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
There are also 17 KGB secret agents and 50 informers working undercover at the plant between 1979 and 1982.
Mm-hmm.
And during this time, they reported to Moscow 27 incidents of radiation leaks and the building being unstable.
Right.
And the Soviet Union did not respond to a single one of them.
Right,
because
it's all right with everything we've ever discussed, like a conspiracy, like say with 9/11 and stuff like that, and what we hit with JFK, they just don't talk to each other.
Mm-mm.
They say, "Oh, there's a problem here." They're like,
yeah.
It's that, it's blasé about
yeah.
it. That'll be all right.
And the thing is as well, this one specifically, because if anybody knows anything about the Soviet Union, they had to be perfect.
Yeah.
That was the whole, like with the whole space race and everything. Everything just has to be top notch. They never fuck up on anything. They never get anything wrong. Everything is just tip notch perfect.
Yeah.
So the fact that the KGB themselves are reporting to Moscow, no, we got problems here, and they're just going, no, just forget about it. Forget about it.
Yeah, just carry on. You'll be all right.
It's like no wonder a nuclear disaster happened.
Yeah, because I think it's why it's like, that ain't gonna happen, is it?
Exactly, and it also makes sense why Gorbachev was saying this was the true cause of it being disbanded. Because if they're meant, like, do you know what I mean? If they're portrayed to be this perfect thing, and then this happens, right, no wonder the Soviet Union is everyone's gonna look at it like, yeah, all right, mate, come on, your bottle jobs, really.
Yeah, they're a joke.
Yeah. The KGB also, I forgot to mention, the KGB is like their secret service. It's like the UK's equivalent to MI5 or the US to CIA. Yeah, that's what the KGB stands for. Now, the KGB also reported to Moscow that the plant was also using water in the cooling pond of the reactor to grow fish bigger to sell to the public to eat.
What?
So basically...
They're selling radioactive fish?
Yeah.
What?
They're literally... All the coolant water, obviously, like you said, is filled with radioactive material or whatever. They're shoving fish in there to grow them bigger, quicker, to sell to the public to eat.
Who's the bright idea fucker who went, that's a good idea, that?
Yeah.
Oh, these fish are road grass.
And the thing is, it'd be money as well, because the bigger the fish, the more you can sell it for. Yeah. So that's all it stands down to. It's just a fucking money scheme.
I mean, it's not funny, but fucking hell. You can imagine seeing that on a fucking on a shit program, like, you know what I mean, like a comedy or something.
Yeah,
that'd be alright.
not genuinely what fucking happened.
Yeah. Like, oh, that's alright. He just glows a bit.
That'd be it's like, don't worry about it. It's like in Only Fools and Horses, where they got to clear that toxic waste.
Yeah,
and they're using their hands, and then when they wave goodbye, their hands are glowing, and then the water starts glowing and everything. It's like, that's probably what it was like. I'd
just love to see that someone. I've got, honestly, fucking Mikhail, I've got a right good idea. That cooling pond, that grows big fish. We're going to use that and then sell it to the public to eat. That's got a bit radioactive in it. That'd be fun.
That'd be fun. Think of the money we fucking make, Paul.
I'll put air on the chest, wouldn't it? Fucking hell.
For fuck's sake.
That's a bit mad.
Yeah. Now, Chernobyl was really close to not actually being the first nuclear plant to explode.
Oh, really?
The first one was in a city in Russia that was called Leningrad. And this almost exploded due to a design flaw, which is the exact same reason why Chernobyl did explode.
Yeah.
However, they managed to rectify this before a problem occurred.
I think I've heard of Leningrad.
And they didn't alert any of the other plants.
No.
Now...
Obviously not.
No. And that obviously ended in catastrophe.
Yeah.
So that's like the problems before it. Now I'll get onto like building up to the explosion, then I'll talk about what actually caused the thing to explode. So, Reactor 4 of the nuclear power plant went into operation on December 20th, 1983. 11 days later, on the last day of the year, the Chernobyl plant director, Viktor Brakhanov, signed a document which certified the completion of the reactor's construction.
Right.
Because again, with the Soviet Union, there was no such thing as a delayed time. It had to be done by that time. There was no if, buts, or maybes. Now, this document that Brakhanov signed was actually a lie. Because he signed it to basically get into the Soviets' good books. It's like, yeah, okay, this is your deadline. We've done it before it. Because like, Soviet Union, you get, like, commended, don't you? And medals, all that sort of shit.
Yeah.
Now, as I said, this was actually a lie because for the document to have been certified, a safety test needed to happen.
Right.
Now, the test is designed to know what would happen if a blackout occurred at the plant so they could keep the reactor core under control and stop it causing a meltdown.
Right.
Now, they to do this, the reactor is placed in a reduced power mode of 700 megawatts to simulate a blackout condition. Now, this test was attempted 3 times beforehand, and they failed every single time. Now, the 4th attempt they tried it was when the accident happened.
Oh.
So, 10 hours earlier, on April 25th, the day the test was supposed to take place, the reactor had been lowered by half of its normal output of 3,200 megawatts to 1,600 megawatts. And they were getting ready to lower it again to its testing output of 700 megawatts. Just as they was about to lower it, a phone call came in from Kiev, which told them that the power grid cannot afford a further reduction in electricity, because they'd already had a plant in Kiev, blackout cut down. So it's like, so they need to keep Chernobyl up and running, otherwise Ukraine's going to lose half its fucking electrical power.
Yeah.
So they're asking for a 10-hour delay on the test. Now, whenever this sort of thing happens, the test is supposed to be cancelled, because then you can raise the power back up to what it's normally supposed to be.
Yeah, keep it stable.
Yeah. However, Brakhanov, as well as nuclear engineer Nikolai Fomin and the reactor 4 chief engineer Anatoly Dyatlov, ordered the test to go ahead. And this is where the problems first start. So at midnight, when they were going to do the test, a shift change happens between the day and the night workers. Now, the night shift didn't even know that this test was supposed to be happening, and even if they did, they didn't know how to do it. And on top of that, the instructions that they had to do the test, many of the key points were crossed out.
Right.
So they didn't know whether to follow them or do whatever.
Yeah, very confused.
And the man actually following these instructions, and the one that was supposed to be doing the test, was only 25 years old. And he'd only been working at the plant for 4 months.
Fucking hell.
So, do you know what I mean? He's got a lot of pressure on his plate. And especially, like, if you've watched the Chernobyl TV show or any documentary, you know about Anatoly Dyatlov. He was just a prick.
Who played him?
The same guy who acts Martin Goodman in Friday Night Dinner.
Yeah.
Yeah, the real Dyatlov was just a piece of shit, do you know what I mean? Very cutthroat, you do this and you fucking do it like this problem. So this poor lad, 25 years old, 4 months on the job, and he's got this fucker looking over his shoulder making sure he's going to be shitting himself.
Yeah.
So now I'll explain what actually caused the explosion, which is a bit of a science lesson, but it'll make sense as I go along.
Right. Oh, fucking hell. I've never done well at chemistry.
All you need to know, mate, is this is just what caused it to go boom.
Mate.
So, Chernobyl uses a element called uranium.
Yeah, I've heard of that.
And as there we go, good start.
Get in there, boy.
Now, as uranium, I can't even fucking talk. As uranium split apart and collide with each other, it creates energy, and if you don't balance out this energy, it never stops rising. So to balance it out, they use boron control rods to reduce reactivity. And it's explained in the show, basically, they're like the brakes of a car.
Right.
Now, when nuclear fuel gets hotter, it gets less reactive, which is obviously not good when do you know what I mean, for a reactor. So, fuel increases the activity, and control rods and water reduce it. But then this causes steam. Steam increases reactivity. But then the rise in temperature reduces it. So again, if you're confused, it don't matter. Basically,
it just goes up and down.
Yeah, all of these are counteracting each other, and if you take one little bit of this out, it all goes tits up. They keep each other in check.
Yeah.
Now, as uranium splits apart to create energy, it breaks down into an element called xenon, which reduces reactivity and acts like a type of poison inside the reactor core. Uh-huh. Now, when the reactor core is at full power, it burns away before the xenon becomes an issue.
Right, okay.
However, because of the delay, reactor 4 had only been on half power for 10 hours, which means that this was causing the xenon to build up and poisoning the core instead of burning it away. And this caused the core's temperature to begin to lower to 30 megawatts, which is very, very bad.
Yeah.
Now, because of this, the reactor needed to be completely shut down for 24 hours to let the xenon die out.
Yeah.
Now, the plant temperature is at 30 megawatts, and because it wasn't shut down, the xenon is still being created and not burning away, which is literally causing the reactor core to drown in poison. Oh. The reactor is also not hot enough to produce steam, because obviously the power's down at 30 and not what it should be at.
So it's below 100 degrees?
Yeah. Oh. Now, the only way to safely raise the power from this state is to do it very, very slowly over 24 hours. However, the Atlov wanted this test done and requested the workers to raise the temperature back to 700 megawatts instantly.
Yeah.
So, and to do this, he orders the workers to begin pulling dozens of these control rods at a time. And remember, the control rods are like the brakes of a car.
Yeah, so it starts putting it in motion.
Yeah. So they start pulling dozens of them out, but the temperature still doesn't move. So they begin to pull even more out. Now, in reactor 4, there are 211 control rods to keep this whole thing.
Oh, that bugs me.
Well, yeah, it's not a round number.
Could have been 210 or 212. Why 211? Oh, that bugs. Oh, nah. That's shit. No wonder it exploded. It's an odd number. It has to.
Fucking hell. Yeah. In reactor 4, there are 211 control rods. And these are the things that keep the whole thing stable. The Atlov ordered 205 of them to be pulled out.
So only 6 of them remain.
So there's next to none keeping this thing in check. And obviously these control rods stop the reactivity from increasing. Now at this point, the uranium fuel has also gone cold, which means the reactivity is no longer being weighed down.
Right.
But the xenon is still so strong that the best case scenario in this situation is to raise the power to 200 megawatts. However, the Atlov wanted the power at 700 megawatts in order to do the test. But the power would not go past 200 megawatts, no matter how hard they tried. So the Atlov, being the oh so clever bastard he is, decided to do the test at 200 megawatts instead of 700 like it was designed to be done at. And it was actually at this point where the power plant's computer itself begins to report that the reactor needs to be completely shut down for 24 hours. Because even the computer's going, mate, you're fucking this. Yeah. Slow down. And this is when the test begins. Yeah. Now, the test leaves the uranium fuel unchecked, and it instantly swings the balance in the other direction, with everything in the reactor core now increasing rapidly, as well as the xenon being burnt away. The core's temperature was rising that quick and dangerous that the only thing that was left to do was to press a button that's called the AZ5 button. Now, this button instantly inserts all of the control rods at once to kill the reactor and shut it completely down. However, because it was cheaper, the Soviet Union added graphite tips to every single one of these control rods. Now, graphite increases reactivity instead of reducing it like the rest of the rod does. And this is what almost happened at Leningrad. But they got rid of the graphite tips and just added normal ones. So when the control rods go in, obviously only the tip goes first into the graphite. And that sends the reactor core, which is already rising, skyrockets.
Yeah.
And the reactor core is designed to work at 3,200 megawatts. Because of everything they've done, and the second they put these control rods in, it was stood at 33,000. That's how mad this went.
So that went 10 times over.
Yeah. You imagine if you, to put it bluntly, for people that don't understand what I've just said, you imagine you got a bottle of Coca-Cola, and you shake it up, and you put Mentos, the Mentos mints in it, and shake it up. You can only shake that you can only shake that so much before it's gonna bang.
Yeah.
And this is what happens. The roof of the reactor, or the lid of it, is actually a 1,000-ton steel framed lid. And there was that much pressure being built up underneath it that it just blew the lid clean off. Now, when that happened, it let oxygen into the reactor. Big no-go.
Yeah.
That's what caused the actual explosion.
Yeah.
So then, that's where, it went boom.
Yeah, you added fuel to the fire.
Yeah, pretty much. So that's what caused the explosion. But now, because obviously that let out tons upon tons of radiation. So I'll explain health-wise and about the radiation a bit itself. Yeah. Now, the way to measure radiation levels is by using an object called a dosimeter to measure the Röntgen, which means radiation level. Now, after the explosion, Chernobyl's high-limit dosimeter was actually buried underneath all the rubble and therefore unable to be used. So instead, they decided to use a low-limit dosimeter, which come back as a reading of 3.6 Röntgen per hour or 300 Röntgen per second, which isn't good because realistically it should be at 0. But it's not majorly bad either because the maximum radiation a human can take is below 4, is just about 4 Röntgen per hour or 400 Röntgen per second. Now, at 400 Röntgen per second is when radiation sickness occurs, and if left untreated, normally results in death within 30 days.
Yeah.
Now, it takes 1,000 Röntgen per hour to kill a person. Now, instead of properly testing the radiation level, the people in charge of the plant decided to just stick with this number of 3.6, because then it don't sound too bad to the fucking Soviet Union, does it? Whenever, obviously, that's only what the low limit dosimeter, that's the maximum reading it could have.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, right.
So that's just the number they had, not the true number itself. Now, bearing in mind, in the 1950, the International Commission on Radiation Protection changed the official limit to 0.3 Röntgen a week for your whole body exposure. So that's how, you know what I mean, dangerous this shit is. Now, the true number of Chernobyl, though the radiation it was leaking out, was 5.6 Röntgen per second, meaning their radiation exposure was more than 20,000 Röntgen per hour. And don't forget, it takes 1,000 Röntgen to kill a person.
Yeah.
And this fucker's leaking out at 20,000 Röntgen per hour.
So, yeah, it's killing them 20 times over.
Yeah, it's fucking mad. This radiation, along with everything else that's going on, it meant that... with everything else that was going on, the radiation pouring out was actually 40 times higher than the radiation used in the atomic bombs of Hiroshima and Nagasaki during World War II. That's how fucking bad this shit was.
Let's just say that again.
40 times higher the radiation than that was used in the atomic bombs at Hiroshima and Nagasaki during World War II.
Hell.
40 times higher.
That is mad.
It's fucking crazy.
That is mental. So 40 times. And that fucking flattened Hiroshima.
Exactly.
Jesus Christ. Because in it as well, there's a picture. They call it the real face of Medusa. I don't know if you see it. It looks like a blob, right? And it's in Reactor 4.
Yeah.
They could only get it through taking a picture with using a mirror.
Oh, really?
Because if anyone actually looked at it, it was too late. You were dead.
Oh, I've seen some... I don't know if... I've never heard of it being called Medusa. Is it... Well, I've heard it... I think it's the same thing, being called the elephant's foot.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I've actually got that written down here, actually, about how bad that is.
They call it real face of Medusa.
Yeah.
Because it's like with the whole mythology of Medusa, you look at it,
you turn to stone,
It was kind of,
Yeah. So... If you still don't understand how bad this was, even though you probably should, I'll say a line from the actual TV show of Chernobyl, which, if you haven't watched, I seriously recommend. It's one of the best TV shows I've ever seen in my life.
I haven't actually seen it.
It is honestly incredible how detailed and how bang on the money they got it.
Yeah.
Obviously, okay, there was some bits dramatised. What TV show or film isn't?
Yeah, true.
But the actual premise of it, fucking incredible.
Right.
So... I'll just quickly read out a line from the show. An RBMK reactor uses uranium-235 as fuel. Now, every atom of U-235 is like a bullet that penetrates everything in its path. Woods, metal, concrete, flesh. Every gram of U-235 holds over 1 billion trillion of these bullets. That is in 1 gram. Now, Chernobyl holds over 3 million grams of U-235. Winds will carry the radioactive smoke over the country. Rain will bring them down on top of us. That is 3 million billion trillion of these bullets in the air we breathe, the food we eat, the water we drink. Most of these bullets will not stop firing for over 100 years. And some of them not for 50,000 years.
Yeah.
That's how fucking dangerous this shit was.
Fucking... Yeah, because in actual Chernobyl, it's uninhabitable for another 20,000 years.
Yeah, it's no way in hell. Okay, you get people that go and visit and things now, but even they have to be. It has to be done in a strict condition. You have to have a guide with you with a Geiger counter and a dosimeter on your neck and everything. Yeah, and even then, you can only stay for like a matter of hours. You can't stay. Do you know what I mean? Indefinitely, because you will die.
Yeah. You'll get at least get radiation sickness.
Yeah, the very, very least. So that's what caused the explosion, and that was the danger of it. So now I'll start getting into the premise of this, the cover-up. Now, as soon as the incident occurred, the nurses and authority members were told very quickly by the Soviet Union not to tell the public how dangerous and severe the situation was, and to pretend that everything was under control. And if they refused to do that, they would be fired and would never ever work again. Because obviously, again, with Soviet Union, it's a case of everything's got to be perfect. So you don't say this shit to anyone. Yeah. So it's like, you don't say this shit to anyone. And it wasn't until a few days after the radiation had swept over the city of Pripyat, which you forget is only a kilometre away from Chernobyl. So it was only a few days after that they decided to evacuate the city, instead of doing it instantly like they should have done. Children were brought into the hospitals with severe stomach ulcers and internal bleeding after the government gave them the wrong dosage of potassium iodine to prevent the radiation exposure.
Right.
The Soviet government thought that the less knowledge the Soviet government thought that the less knowledge there was, the less panic there would be. So they immediately cut off the telephone lines from Pripyat to the entire world. And anyone who tried to leave the city was stopped instantly. Because obviously people that live in Pripyat, they work at the plant, so they know how bad this is. So even if they tried to leave, the Soviet Union was like, nah, you ain't going anywhere, kid.
So you held hostage.
Yeah, pretty much. And for example, none of the hospitals had been trained in how to deal with radiation. So the nurses tried to find research about it as much as they could, and the Soviet Union actually ordered every single book in any library, any school, anything. If it mentioned the word radiation, it was taken away and burnt. Just for having the word radiation in, just to keep this all hush-hush.
You know. Imagine if it was... even though some people were like burning books about radiators.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
It's like, it's got radi in it. Gone. It's like, I just need to know how to bleed it, bro. And the way the Soviet Union was actually caught out about the secret they were trying to hide was actually from Sweden. On April 28th, 1986, a nuclear plant north of Stockholm, Sweden, was up and running, and the workers were actually getting wet because it was raining that day. And so obviously so many workers were caught in the rain on the way to work. And they had to pass through a testing area which checked that they wasn't taking any radiation with them on their way out of the plant.
Right.
But however, the alarms were going off on their way into the plant.
Oh, fuck.
So they're thinking, right, okay, what the fuck's going on here, man? So they thoroughly checked every single part of their facility and they found nothing wrong with it. Yeah. And then they figured out that the rain clouds were coming from the east, from the direction of Chernobyl, which meant, and that was the next plant to them.
Right.
So that's how they was able to figure out that something bad had actually happened there. And then they was the ones that actually reported it, saying, okay, something's going on at Chernobyl, just be warned and stay cautious and all that.
Yeah.
And the Soviet Union still tried to fucking hide it. And in the Soviet Union, there was a major holiday coming up called May Day, which basically celebrates the Soviet Union and all its workers and the general public, etc. and they throw a huge parade in Moscow where the public celebrate. The Soviet Union let this carry on despite the fact innocent people were being exposed to high doses of radiation.
They're just they're fucking idiots, man.
They really are. They really fucking are.
It's such an egotistical thing. Like, can they get their heads out of their asses for one moment? Yeah, we get it. You're so high and mighty. Sit down a minute. You fucked out.
Innit? You fucking dopey cunt. Now, during this time, the weather and the wind changed and actually moved the direction of the radioactive clouds away from Ukraine, across Belarus, and heading towards Russia. So to prevent the clouds from reaching Russia, and I thought this was bollocks until I saw it on many documentaries and TV shows.
No. You saying they put a giant fan up or something?
No. That's even madder.
Right.
So to prevent the clouds from reaching Russia, the Soviet Union underwent a mission called Cyclone, where they actually fired silver iodide missiles through the clouds to make it rain on top of Belarus before it could reach Russia.
What?
Yeah. I was like, nah, bollocks. And then I saw like a load of nuclear physicists and everything talking about it. It's like, no, they generally did that.
They done that, so it pissed down
on Belarus before it got to Russia.
Mate.
How cunty is that?
That's a war crime, surely. They're
part of the Soviet Union. They can do whatever the fuck they want.
Mate.
That's fucked, innit?
That's fucking ridiculous. Fuck Belarus, they went.
Yeah.
Fucking hell.
That's fucking mad. Shot iodine missiles through the clouds to make it rain on top of another country before it hits yours. Imagine that happening nowadays, how fucked that would be.
Hey, I can't believe that.
It's fucking mad.
They're mental.
They are, royally. Now, this means that the people of Belarus, which holds over 7,000 people, were purposely affected by the Soviet Union and were exposed to massive doses of radiation.
Yeah.
And this also caused their economy to be ruined for years. Yeah. And huge areas of its farmlands, which was their main income, to be uninhabitable and irradiated. So they fucked that entire country just to stop it from hitting theirs.
Yeah.
That's the sort of cunt you're dealing with this lot.
They're fucking sociopaths.
They are. They really fucking are. So that's their attempt to cover it and all that. So next, obviously, comes the cleanup and all the problems that occurred with that. And this is where, like, in the show, is at its darkest point, the deepest. You see, like, you realise the true reality of what they went through just to stop this shit from happening. Now, this whole time this was all happening that I just mentioned, you got to remember this reactor is still going.
Yeah,
it's still just leaking out radiation because it's on fire, and they can't just pour water on it like a normal fire because it's burning that hot that any water instantly vaporizes before it even remotely touches the fire. So to put it out successfully, they had to get 5,000 tons of boron and sand and pour it over the top of it.
Yeah.
And how they done that was they got helicopters to take bags at a time and just drop it. Yeah. But they had to get as low as they possibly could because they was only dealing with, they only had like a hole of 5 meters they had to drop this thing through.
Oh, right. Yeah.
And so, and there was, you think all these pilots that are flying directly over the core, they're getting massively radiated and all that. Yeah.
Radiation pretty much.
And it even got that bad. There was one helicopter where they were doing construction work on the plant. The helicopter was that low to try and drop the sand into the hole that its propeller got caught in the crane's wire and just blew up. Well, not blew up, it like collapsed and crashed and everyone in that helicopter died.
Yeah. They probably died like quite a quick, painless death.
Yeah. If anything, they got the better end of that sounded harsh. They probably did get the better end of the job with all this shit. Now, with boron and sand, the only problem with this is it puts the fire out, but then it becomes a type of lava.
Yeah.
And that was inside the reactor core. And very soon, that was, because obviously, anyone who knows lava, if you got, like, I don't know, a floor, and you put lava on top of it, it's eventually going to go through.
Yeah.
Now, And they anticipated this was going to happen, but they thought, okay, we're going to have enough time to deal with it. Now, but if they didn't, it was actually going to collapse, and it would have poisoned the entire of the Black Sea, which would have contaminated the drinking water for millions of people as well as livestock. So, but as I said, they knew this was going to happen, but they thought they had time to deal with it. However, what they didn't anticipate was that the hydration tanks below the reactor were filled up with water. And this was from the firemen trying to put the fire out, because obviously at the point it exploded, every fireman in the area was over there because they thought it was just a genuine fire. And then they're pouring tons and tons and tons and tons of water on it, and it's not doing anything.
No.
Now, this water obviously is going through the reactor core into the hydration tank, so it's not only just any water, it's radioactive water.
Oh, no.
Now, these hydration tanks had up to 5 million gallons of radioactive water inside them. This means that the melting reactor would have reached there first, and if it did, it would have made an explosion with a force of between 3 to 5 megatons.
Whew.
This explosion would have also destroyed the other 3 stable reactors at Chernobyl. And with all of them, you think how much shit this one reactor's done.
It'd be like a chain reaction.
Yeah. If all 4 of them were doing it, it would have actually destroyed any nearby cities, and it would have rendered the entire of Europe uninhabitable. So we almost was fucked up in this.
Would we? But because we're an island out of the way.
I think that... Actually, I think you might be right.
Yeah. But
anywhere entire Western Europe, especially, you'd been fucked.
Fucking hell. That is terrifying.
Yeah.
Really. And the thing is, they've still got nuclear power plants to this day.
Yeah, exactly.
And the thing, that could happen any time. That's fucking shit.
And the mad thing is, it's like, this weren't only like a premise sort of thing. If they didn't deal with this would have happened.
Yeah.
There's like no two ways about it. That core, melting reactor core would have hit them tanks, and this all would have occurred. And there would have been fuck all they could do to stop that. Because if it took all this to like stop and keep control of one blown up reactor core, imagine what the fuck it would take to get 4 of them destroyed.
Ain't even worth thinking about.
No.
It. Fucking hell.
Now, they stopped this by having 3 men, who were called Alexei Anenko, Valery Bespalov, and Boris Baranov, go into the reactor water feed, navigating their way through complete darkness, because obviously when the reactor went off, all the electric in that area, and they're treading through, I think it was like 3 foot of radioactive water, to find the valves... to find the critical pressure valves and release the water flow out of the tanks.
Yeah.
Now, due to the sheer amount of radiation that was in that region right below the reactor core, all 3 men were told that if they do this, then they would most likely be dead within a week. And they still did it.
Fucking fair play to them.
However, all 3 survived the situation, and 2 of them are still alive today.
Fucking fair. Honestly, you've got to respect that, because they went in there knowing they were doing the better for mankind.
Yeah.
But they weren't going to survive it. So they went and done it. That's a true hero,
yeah.
isn't it?
And the fact that 2 are still alive today, 35 years after the incident took place.
I bet they're a bit fucked, though.
I bet they are, but do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Fair
I think it was Boris Baranov was the one that died. I think he died in the 90s, I think he died. Late 90s. Right. I think, again, through cancer.
Yeah.
But
no, fucking fair play to him. That's true heroes.
Too right. So they managed to solve the problem with the water tanks, but they still had to resolve the issue involving the meltdown of the reactor core.
Right.
So to prevent this, they used a nearby coal mining industry to dig 6 meters below ground and install a liquid nitrogen heat exchanger, which they managed to do in just 6 weeks.
Right.
And because they needed to keep disruption above ground to a minimum, they had to do it by hand. Mm. So to dig they had to dig 6 meters down, go right under the reactor core, dig the tunnel, put the thing in, and they're working in bare, complete heat, because you think they've got a melting reactor core above them. So the heat in that little bit is going to be fucking scorching.
Colossal, yeah.
And they've done it within 6 weeks.
Fair play. Fucking hell, they're proper men, they are.
Yeah. It just goes to show, like, when people say Russia, like, nowadays you think different, but back then, or like even last year or something, you thought Russia, you think hard cunt.
Yeah.
These were the true definition of Russian.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, these were the hardest of the hard.
Yeah.
Now, when the meltdown reached the heat exchanger, it finally cooled down and solidified into something that you was just on about. It solidified into something which is called corium. And it's more commonly known as, like you said with the Medusa thing, or it's more commonly known as the elephant's foot. Yeah. And that's simply just due to the look of it. And this is a mixture of multi-uranium oxide, sand, metal, glass, and silicon. And the only way corium is formed is through a nuclear meltdown.
Right.
And that's because it actually generates its own heat. And it can actually get as half as hot as the surface of the sun. That's what they were dealing with this shit. And this makes corium officially the deadliest substance on the planet.
Yeah.
And if you stand next to this thing for an hour, like you said, you'd be done. But it is actually the equivalent of having 4.5 million chest X-rays all at once. So very, very bad.
Yeah, not the best thing in the world.
Because even with today's technology, you think with X-rays, they have to stand behind like a sort of guarded thing, don't they? And my mum has I can't remember what sort of X-ray she had, but she weren't even allowed to go near Liv for 24 hours.
Really?
Because kids are can absorb it really, really easily.
Yeah, susceptible.
Yeah. There was actually, I thought they just made it up for the TV show, but it was actually genuine. This woman in the Chernobyl show, her husband was one of the firemen, and he was burnt. Like, but it weren't like a burn like you think fire burn. Like, his skin was just dissolving.
Yeah, melting.
And I always thought, imagine the pain he's in, because you can't get an intravenous drip into him because his veins are just being dissolved.
Yeah.
So he's just literally sitting there, writhed in pain, waiting to die.
Yeah, wanting death, I imagine, yeah.
And his wife was really close to him, and she shouldn't have been, because she was pregnant at the time.
Oh, yeah.
Now, the only reason she survived is because, obviously, she was pregnant. The baby, because it's obviously connected through the umbilical cord, was absorbing all that radiation.
Oh, it killed the baby, then.
The baby died within 2 hours.
Yeah.
But the sad reality of it is, the baby was the only thing that kept her alive.
Yeah, saved the mum.
And they told her that she would never, ever be able to have kids again.
No.
She's got 2.
Right.
It goes to show, life will prevail.
Yeah.
It don't matter what you throw in it. Life will always
Nature
fucking prevail.
will always win.
Yeah.
Well, it's like looking at Chernobyl now. I know you're probably going to get onto it, but look at Chernobyl now. Nature's took it back.
Yeah. I was saying, because I was watching this documentary with my mum the other day, and when you see all the trees growing up, it's like, it's horrible what occurred, but it's a beautiful sight as well.
Yeah.
That something so man-made, horrible, destructive thing has caused nature to just, like, right, we'll have it.
Yeah.
It's like with a forest fire, or like a big wildfire. 9 times out of 10, where the fire is spread, growth just skyrockets, doesn't it? Because it replenishes the soil.
Yeah. So it's a catch-22, really.
Yeah, it really is.
It's a circle of life in a way, but it just shows it don't matter what we do in a way. Like, we want to reduce like the ozone layer and all stuff like that. Yeah, no, it does need doing. It'll probably kill us out. Yeah, but nature won't. It won't kill nature.
No,
nature will somehow survive in some way.
I saw it was on what was it? Godzilla, King of Monsters, actually, where she mentions it. She says, "You got to look at." It is a brilliant film.
I love them.
I fucking hated Godzilla v Kong. It was so shit.
Oh, I've watched it, and I didn't think it was too bad.
I thought it could have been so much better.
They made Kong too good.
Yeah, they made Kong a little bitch.
Well,
I mean, okay, Godzilla was going to slap him about, but he literally had him on toast.
Which it should have been.
Yeah, true.
Because I've had this argument countless times. Because people say, "Oh, King Kong's better."
He's not.
He's really not.
He's really not.
Right? He's a big ape. That's it.
Yeah.
Godzilla feeds off radiation.
Yeah.
He shoots stuff.
Yeah.
And he's like a big dinosaur at the same time. How can Kong be better than that? How can anything
It's
be
like
better
he
than
killed
that?
when he in King of Monsters where he killed Ghidorah, a big 3-headed alien dragon.
Yeah.
He killed that. No wonder the other fuckers bowed to him. It's like, yeah, okay, you're big, Donnie.
Yeah. Fucking right. Honest, no. Right, I'll always remember it's the bit where Godzilla and King Ghidorah like run at each other.
Yeah.
I've never felt such hype in like few little seconds. And I'm sitting there in the cinema and I was proper like, go on! You know what I mean?
Fucking hell.
I was like, right. I was about to like turn my shirt off and everything. Like, go on, Godzilla! I got so hyped in them couple of seconds where they're just running at each other. I was like, go on, boy! It's a fucking film.
Fuck's sake. It's a shame he ain't real, because they could have used him here.
Yeah.
He'd just stand in next. It's like, God, just stand there.
Yeah,
it's like, oh, I got it.
He'd eat that fucker like...
It's like, oh, caviar, my favourite.
Yeah. Oh, mate. Fuck it. Oh, no, you right, I hope you... I love them films.
Yeah.
And like you say, King of Monsters, that is a very, very good film. No, I've always preferred Godzilla over Kong.
Yeah, hands
Always.
down. Hands down.
Always.
But yeah, like I was getting at, with that film, she says it, where it's like, the Earth, you got to think it's just a living host. And like all living hosts, when it's got a virus, it develops a fever to fight the host. The human race is the virus.
Yeah.
And the Earth's just letting off a fever to fight it. And when you think of everything that's happening with like tsunamis, earthquakes, volcanoes, fucking even things like COVID and shit like that.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's like the Earth is trying to kill us. It's like, you're killing me, I'll kill you, you fucker.
Yeah, because the Earth won't die.
No.
Like you said, the Earth won't die.
No.
We could die, but they can't.
Look,
carry on.
The thing was hit by the fucking asteroid.
Yeah.
And it's still like, is that it?
Yeah.
You killed everything living, but I'm still standing, cunt.
Yeah, well, I might not kill everything living. Like,
Yeah, well, you know.
Like Loch Ness. You just don't know. Yeah, no, carry on. To tell you what, fucking out there, I'm telling you.
Very well could be. So obviously, at this point, the radiation cooled down. That was dealt with.
Right.
So the next problem was they had to clear the roof of radioactive debris for a containment lid to be fitted over the top of the building.
Right.
And to do this, they had over 4,000 people run onto the roof and clear up as much debris as they could by chucking it over the edge into the reactor hole, and they only had 90 seconds each to do so. Because obviously, any more, you would have been fucked.
Yeah, so...
It's actually, during this 90 seconds, their bodies were exposed to a dosage of radiation that people are not advised to do so for an entire year. And they have this much exposure in 90 seconds.
Fucking hell.
And after all of this, the workers and the firefighters who received the most radiation obviously started to get really, really sick. And you got to remember, this was also during the height of the Cold War.
Yeah.
So this story, I only found out the other day, and I couldn't believe it. But a US bone marrow transplant specialist called Robert Gale was flown over to Russia by the invitation of Gorbachev himself, and was taken immediately to a hospital where many of the sick patients were. And their bone marrow had been completely destroyed by the radiation.
Fucking hell.
And in the US, Robert Gale and his team had actually cloned the hormones that help create bone marrow. And drug companies were actually in the middle of developing this as a treatment for cancer patients to help their bone marrow heal after chemotherapy and things.
Right, yeah.
Because obviously chemotherapy is a type of radiation. And this treatment had actually been tested on mice, dogs and monkeys, but had never been tested on humans. And when Robert Gale suggested this treatment, the hierarchy told him no, because they didn't want the damage. No, they didn't know what the damage could be, and they didn't want to use the people that have helped sort this mess out to be used as guinea pigs.
Right, fair enough.
Yeah. So Robert Gale himself actually took the treatment first to see if there was any side effects or anything like that. His blood counts went up the next day and was given the go-ahead to give the treatment to the patients.
Right.
And out of 204 people in the hospital with serious radiation sickness, 175 of them survived because of this treatment.
fuck. Good old Gale.
Yeah. But it's like, it's just mad as well. That's where it shows like the worst of humanity with what happened, but then the best, where it's like, you're in the height of a Cold War.
Yeah.
Gorbachev's running the Soviet Union, and even he said to this guy in America, come over, help our people. And Robert Gale was just like, yeah, okay, sweet.
Yeah.
And it's like, you don't want to use these people as guinea pigs, fair enough. I'll be the guinea pig.
Yeah. No, yeah.
And the fact it saved 175 out of 204 people. And one of them, actually, I think he was one of the ones that was, I think he might have been actually one of the cleanup people on the roof. One of them was the father to Vladimir and Vitaly Klitschko.
Really?
Mm-hmm. And I think he passed in 2004 through cancer.
Yeah.
But he was one of the people that helped with the cleanup job in Chernobyl.
Oh, for fucking hell. Small world.
It really is. Now, 6 days after the explosion, the Soviet Union set up a 20-mile exclusion zone around the reactor, which still stands to this day.
Yeah.
They was also tasked with having to spray the streets and buildings with a decontaminant liquid, with the most contained buildings that are like rifed in radiation. They had to bulldoze them over, and then after that, they had to dig up 15 to 20 centimeters of soil and remove it because that was contaminated with all the water spray and everything.
Yeah.
Now the sad part about it, which they do show in the TV show, and it's so fucking sad. They had to kill every animal in the exclusion zone, with most of them being people's pets, cats and dogs.
Oh, fucking hell.
No, imagine having to be the one to do that job.
Yeah.
And thankfully they don't show it. Like, there's in the show, there's these three lads, and they're the ones that do it. And there's the guy who's running it, fucking hard cunt, but I love him. So he says, I've only got 2 rules. 1, you don't point that fucking gun at me. And he says, 2, if you hit an animal and it doesn't die, you keep shooting until it does. You do not let it suffer. And this fucking young lad, I wanted to hit him because he shoots a dog and it's laying there and it's whimpering, and he's just slowly walking up to it. And then matey boy who gave the rule shot it, got it right in his face, pissed off. I was like, don't let them suffer.
Nah, fair enough.
And then there was a bit like later on where the lad goes into one of the houses and there's a dog sat there with a litter of puppy.
Oh, no. You don't see it, do you?
You don't see it, but then the leader comes in and is like, you go, I'll deal with it. And then you just see the young lad sitting outside the building. You can hear the shots going off. But obviously... But it's like, that could have very well been a reality.
Yeah, more than likely.
It's like, imagine having to be the one to do that. And the dog as well, it was sitting there so happy, like, look at my litter. And then all the pups just rolling around. I'm like, no, they got to die. But then...
But if you think in the bigger picture, it's either that, like, quick, painless death.
Or they're rifed in agony.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but it's just like...
You made me sad now.
I was like, no, you can't do that.
Hang on. What kind of dog?
I think it was a... I don't know, it had like a German Shepherd-esque look to it, but it weren't a German Shepherd or anything along them lines. But do you know what I mean? It looked... I can't think what sort of dog it would have been. No, I can't think on earth what it would have been.
Like a collie or something?
Yeah, something along them lines. Oh. Some sort of collie, yeah. I was like, oh! So for fuck's sake! And
Dyatlov.
In it, all because that one cunt.
Yeah.
And to further prevent radiation leaking into the ground, all those that died from radiation exposure were buried in their like coffins or caskets. They would then be welded shut in lead coffins, and then they'd be cemented over in concrete. Because obviously, with a coffin, it eventually, because it's wood, it's eventually going to rot, isn't it? Yeah, and then the radioactive body, even if it's a skeleton, it's still going to be rife with radiation. It's going to go into the ground and poison everything. So they really made sure this shit ain't going anywhere.
Which is fair enough. Still shit, though.
Now, after all of this, you think, right, thank fuck that's over. In 1997, the original containment lid had already started to rust and corrode. And this was creating a radioactive dust inside the buildings, which when the containment lid collapsed, would have basically let all that radioactive dust out, and it would have been fucked again. So in order to stop this, in 2010, the work for a new containment lid began, which baffled me when I first heard about it. Exactly. It's like, why the fuck did it take so long? Yeah. It's like you're asking for it to collapse.
Yeah.
So, yeah, as I said, in 2010, they began the work on a new containment lid, which was designed to go over the original one, and it would last for at least 100 years. Now, this thing was so big and so heavy that it took until 2016 to be completed, and then it took 7 days to move it into position. Because they built it like about, I think it was like 30 kilometres away or 300 kilometres away, and then slowly just moved it along over the thingy.
Yeah.
And it was that delicate of a process that the most it moved in one day was only 18 metres.
Oh, fuck.
And the whole thing only needed to move 300 metres.
Yeah.
That's how careful they had to do this thing.
Fucking hell. Well, if it's made out of such a strong material, you'd have thought that they'd have had like some sort of machines like, to bed it on.
Well, yeah.
To track it along.
I think they did. I think they had like these sort of track things.
Yeah.
But it was that big and heavy, they could only move it because they had to make sure it stayed on the track and everything. Is like, move it, stop, make sure everything's okay. Yep. Because obviously, if it knocked or anything, it could have ripped it. Right. Or do you know what I mean?
You imagine being like, oh, that do my fucking head. And be like, come on,
innit? You're like, this fucker's gonna collapse any second. Yeah. Get this cunt over it. But I forgot to write it down actually, but I think I roughly remember. The 3 men, Fomin, Brukhanov and Dyatlov, were all charged with this. They were all sentenced for this shit. And there was also a guy, I can't think what his name was, but he was the guy that basically called out the Soviet Union on it. Because they were trying everything in their power to take the blame off of them and put it on these 3 gentlemen.
Right.
Which, yeah, okay, it was their fault.
It was, yeah.
And I think they were all sentenced to 100 hours of... 10 years of hard labour each.
Yeah.
And, which I think was their equivalent of, like, life imprisonment sort of thing.
Right.
Because I think hard labour, you know, like the whole... We see in films with the whole pickaxe and the rock breaking. I think it was some similar to that.
Right, okay. But in the programme, didn't that Dyatlov die?
Not in the programme, no.
Oh, because he started spewing up and that.
Yeah, he got really sick with it, right. But it didn't kill him. Well, it did later on in life.
Yeah.
That's the thing with the majority of these people. If you didn't die within that 30 days, you died like so many years later.
Yeah. It was going to kill you.
It was going to kill you one way or another.
Yeah.
And the... I can't think what the fucking bloke's name is. Professor Legasov. He's the one that actually called out the Soviet Union. Yeah. Because they was like, well, how did this thing explode then? Because they said, they done all that, but that A75 button, it's like, because of you lot. So because you were doing everything so cheap and easy, that you added graphite tips to the fucking ends of them, that's what caused the explosion. Yeah. And they're like, you're contradicting yourself. And he was like one of the first, if only, people to stand up to the Soviet Union and be like, you fucked up.
Yeah.
And the reason he done so is because you've already seen what it can do at one plant. He said there are thousands of other plants out there with this exact same design flaw. In fact, the other 3 reactors at Chernobyl all fucking have them. So it's like, it needs to be dealt with. And thankfully they did do it. But I think he was arrested and sentenced for how many years for basically calling out the thingy. And I think he was also, because he made these recording tapes, because he killed himself actually.
Oh, did he?
But beforehand he made all these like recorded tapes. And that's where the whole story came out of what happened, how they dealt with it, and how the Soviet Union tried to cover it up.
Main bloke in the program, right? Yeah.
And how they tried to cover it up. So if it weren't for him, they'd still probably be all squeaky clean and everything.
Yeah.
So that's the premise of Chernobyl itself. It almost went tits up again a few months ago. Because as we know with the Russia invasion of Ukraine, which I was humming and hawing whether to mention it, but I thought if I'm on about Chernobyl, I've sort of got to.
Yeah.
So as we all know, Russia have recently invaded Ukraine. And as the Russian forces moved forward through the country, the Ukrainian officials actually tried to plead and establish Chernobyl as a no-go area for both armies. This fell on deaf ears.
Obviously.
Because Russia... And to this day, there are still people working at Chernobyl, despite the fact that the whole plant has been deactivated.
Yeah.
And their job basically is just to make sure everything's intact and that the maintenance is up to scratch to keep it as safe as possible.
Yeah.
Now, whilst the Russian forces were moving through the exclusion zones with tanks and other heavy machinery, they was actually kicking up all of the radioactive dust on the ground, causing the radiation levels to go up 10 times as much as it usually does there now.
So they're killing themselves.
Yeah, pretty much. Now, as we know, Russia took over the Chernobyl plant, and they even took 200 workers hostage and forced them to constantly look after the site, which was the first major problem, because you think these workers are scared, they're hungry, and they're tired, and they're being told to look after arguably the most dangerous building on the planet. Which means, obviously, if you're hungry, you're tired, you're scared, you don't know what the fuck's going on, and you're being asked to look after something so delicate, that's most likely when a mistake's going to occur.
Yeah.
Now, these workers were kept hostage for 13 days, and on the 9th of March, the power actually went off at Chernobyl, which was a problem because the power is needed to keep the air conditioning on inside the containment building where much of the spent nuclear fuel had been stored. And if the heat builds up, the water surrounding the spent nuclear fuel would evaporate, which would then pick up radioactive isotopes in the spent fuel rods, which would cause a massive radiation leak inside the containment building. And then if that was ever vented or something, the whole thing would have been back to square one.
It baffles me, really. Because you imagine, right, you're a Russian soldier. They say, right, you're off to Chernobyl. First, I'll be like, do what?
Thing is, apparently so many of them didn't even know what it was or what happened. Because you think the majority of the Russian soldiers are so young.
Yeah.
They didn't have a fucking clue about it.
I imagine they keep it all hush-hush.
Yeah.
Without,
we all know about it because, but I suppose over there, yeah, it's like, especially as your leader of Russia was a KGB member.
Yeah. But, you imagine that, I'd be like, yeah, you're off to Chernobyl. Be like, hang on, what?
What the fuck? So no wonder half of these bastards are shooting themselves to get out of it.
Yeah. Fucking
I fucking would if I was being sent there, especially.
So it's just, he's leading his own troops to death.
Yeah.
Isn't he?
And information was also leaked that Russian soldiers occupying Chernobyl actually had no idea what the hell they were dealing with.
Well, no, obviously.
And on the 10th of March, all the communications and monitoring systems to the outside world were cut off. Which meant that caused worldwide panic. Because I remember seeing about it on the news, like Chernobyl's gone dark, I think they said, or something like that. And obviously, because it was cut off, no one had a clue what the hell was going on inside there. It was like, well, are the workers dead? Has the thing gone off again? Like, what the fuck do we do? Sort of thing. And they can't just walk in and check because it's occupied by Russian soldiers.
Yeah.
So they were really shitting themselves at this point. But thankfully, on the 14th of March, the power was back up and running. And then on the 20th of March, Russian forces pulled out of Chernobyl and let it go back to how things were. Thank fuck.
Thank for fucking Lord.
Now, nowadays, the maximum time allowed to stay at the plant is 15 days over a accumulated amount of time. Right, so, like, a few hours here, a few hours there. And this is to keep radiation exposure to safe levels. But these workers had been kept hostage on site there for 24 days straight.
Yeah, so they're fucked.
So they're fucked as well. That's how mad this whole story is. Just people's ballsing up and ignorance and everything has caused this shit.
No. It's just infuriating because I'm not a clever person. Even I could see how stupid they are.
It's ridiculous.
And these are people running countries.
Yeah.
Madness. Absolute madness. Unless they see a bigger picture of what we do. But I can't.
But if there's one thing you don't fuck with, it's nuclear shit. Especially one that's already exploded.
Yeah. No, that's fucking ridiculous.
But it's like, I think they also said that the new containment lid over it, the one that was finished in 2016, I swear that was hit by a missile and dented it. And they was like, thank fuck it didn't go through it.
Yeah.
But it's like,
just leave it alone.
What twat has gone over there, right? Okay, yeah, you've been ordered to. But then what twat's given the order to shoot at the fucking thing?
Yeah, just leave it.
You're like, are you thick?
Leave it alone.
It's like leaving the gas on in your kitchen all night and then saying, go in there and spark up a fag.
Yeah.
It's like, what the fuck do you think's going to happen?
See that tin of baked beans, put it in the microwave.
Yeah.
Well, we can't talk.
Oh, yeah, fucking true. No, it weren't tin of baked beans, though.
No, it was tin foil of butter.
Yeah. But we soon realised that when it started sparking, it's just like, shit, get it off.
We pulled it out, like, why is it causing that? Oh, yeah, it's tin foil, isn't it? Fucking idiot. All we want to do is soften a bit of butter. Bit of anchor spreadable.
Oh, fucking hell.
That nearly blew us up.
Fuck's sake.
But it was so easily preventable.
The whole thing.
The whole thing is so easily preventable, and people died horrible deaths.
The worst kind of death, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I'd rather... Everyone knows my fear of death is burning alive. I'd rather take that than radiation burning alive.
Yeah.
Because your innards are just dissolving inside you.
Yeah. Oh, that is just... That is...
It's like a quick bullet in the head, bang, done.
Yeah.
But the thing is, they couldn't even do that. Because if they were to do it, the blood would have splattered.
Yeah.
And that would have... Do you know what I mean? The whole body is just pure radiation. They can't touch it.
Fucking pillow over the head.
Anything.
Yeah.
Literally anything.
It's not even worth thinking about, is it?
There's actually a scene in the TV show where when one of the Soviet Union's hierarchy wanted to go look with this Legasov fella, he wanted to fly directly over the reactor core to have a look in. And the guy was like, you cannot do this. If you do this, we'll be dead within a week. And the pilot shit himself going, what do I do? What do I do? And the bloke goes, get us over that building or I'll have you shot. And then, best line ever to fucking deter someone. This guy goes straight up to the pilot and says, if you fly directly over that core, I promise you by tomorrow morning, you'll be begging for that bullet. So he's just like, nope. Yeah. I was like, fair fucking play, mate.
Yeah.
I was like,
fuck this shit out.
Yeah, too right. But it's like, even because you end up liking him later on in the show, but it's like, even I was getting pissed off at this point. It's like, he's the fucking nuclear professor. He knows what he's on about. He's saying, don't fly over it. You're going, let's go look at hole.
Yeah.
It's like, are you thick?
Yeah.
It's like, okay, the Soviet Union wanted to portray themselves as the biggest, baddest, hardest fuckers on the planet. They weren't as thick as pig shit.
Oh, God, yeah.
They were fucking morons.
No, yeah, all brawn, no brain.
Yeah.
Well, it's like it now, though, isn't it?
Well, yeah, true.
But fuck it. But speaking of Chernobyl, can you remember a few years ago now, there was a film called Chernobyl Diaries?
Yeah.
Have you seen it?
I ain't seen it, but I've heard about it.
It's got, he used to be a kid singer, Jesse McCartney.
Oh, fucking hell.
Yeah. And he said it. I remember watching it, and they break into Chernobyl to have a little look at it. But it's actually plagued with, like, mutants.
Oh, right.
I thought it was quite good. It got a really shit review.
Yeah.
But I quite...
The idea's there, though.
Yeah, I think so.
The thing is, as well, it's not... I mean, yeah, okay, the mutant side, but people breaking in, that's not uncommon because it still happens nowadays.
Yeah.
People are breaking in. Like, I've seen so many, like, influencers and shit go there just to get an Instagram selfie. It's like, do you not realise what that's doing to your body?
Yeah.
It's like, I'd love to go and visit there.
Yeah,
but under safe thing, do you know what I mean? And even then, I'd only probably want to stay for about an hour.
If that, yeah.
If that. I just want to look at it and be like, mad, right, let's go.
Yeah. We'll do that for if we get big enough.
I'm well up for that.
Yeah, we'll go there, be like, right, this is Chernobyl, a lot of shit happening here, right, back off.
We'll talk about it later.
Yeah.
I don't want to stay here.
Yeah.
It's like, you've seen Burnt Chips video where he goes there.
No.
He went with like the legal way to do it and everything. It's fucking mad. They ended up staying at some grandmother's house who went back there to live the rest of her days out there. She's like, this was my home when I was a kid. I lived here. I grew up here, sorry. I'm dying here. And they was having like a Christmas dinner there and everything.
Yeah.
I was like, fucking fair play.
Yeah, fucking right. But still.
Yeah.
I love my house. Don't love it that much.
No, fuck no.
I would be like, sorry now.
But that's what so many people forget as well. Was like, not only just in Pripyat, but all around the surrounding area. So many people had to just up and leave their home, not having a clue why,
yeah.
and they've never been able to go back.
They got pictures there.
Yeah, everything.
Yeah.
It's like when like on that burnt chips video, when he goes in there, and there's like writing on like classroom blackboards. There's like dolls there, swings, all that sort of shit. Like even the fairground ride.
Yeah.
That whole fairground was actually meant to open the next month.
Oh right.
So it never ever got opened.
No.
The only time that thing was ever used was during the testing thing.
Oh yeah.
So it's like just something eerie about it.
Yeah.
When you look at it, it's like it should have been a happy place, and
It's
it
a
never.
ghost town.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a right ghost town. That does intrigue me.
Yeah.
Have a little wonder.
I've always been fascinated with this. I think mainly it did come from Call of Duty, where you play that mission when you've got to go there. But then when I got older and found out what the fuck actually happened, and you're like, Jesus Christ, and how dangerous it was, and how, like you said, easily preventable it could have been, and all of that. It's like...
But like you say, like, it's uninhabitable for 20,000 years. You know,
that's insane.
Just think, 20,000 years ago, we were cavemen. 20,000 in the future, God knows.
Yeah.
If humans are even about still then, you just don't know. Like, but no, that is just crazy.
It's fucking insane. Really is insane.
From one man's fuck up.
Yeah.
That just shows that there's some stuff.
And I just find it so ironic as well that the whole thing, like you said, one man's fuck up, but the whole thing was because of a safety test of all things.
Yeah, I know.
A safety test fucked this all up.
Yeah. And for graphite tips.
Yeah. You're like, fuck's sake. It's just so many design flaws. You're like, how dumb are you? But fair play to that one guy that rectified it all, because otherwise it could have very happened again tomorrow, for all we know.
Yeah. Yeah, that could have happened a number of times. We might, we might have all been killed by it.
Yeah.
So.
Well, like I said, Chernobyl almost wasn't the first. So it's like...
Stalingrad, and there's been a few others.
Yeah.
Like, that is fucking crazy.
I think didn't China have a meltdown not that long ago?
Yeah, it was not. Yeah, it was not.
Well, nothing nowhere near this, but
yeah, it was just it was a minor.
But it's like in modern technology and everything, that still would be dangerous. Do you know what I mean? A minor meltdown.
Oh god, yeah.
So back then, it's like no wonder this cunt nearly wiped out half of Europe.
Yeah, and it fucking hell. That you can't really like imagine it really like how catastrophic it was going to be.
Yeah, because obviously, like you said, you think of how catastrophic it was. That was almost not even remotely like a scratch to the surface of what it very well could have been.
Yeah, like
and almost been if it weren't for like all them brave, just courageous fuckers that are like, nah,
we're not having it. We're saving our children.
It's like fair fucking play.
Yeah, they laid their hearts on the line.
Yeah,
and people like that, they always have my respect.
Which is why I know, okay, it's their country, but it also makes sense why the Klitschko brothers are so heartfelt in defending Ukraine now.
Yeah,
because it's like if their father was willing to put his life on the line to save the world,
it's like Ukraine in a whole.
Well, yeah,
how they're doing it, like the president. I fucking love that man.
Yeah, yeah.
Honestly, if I ever meet him, he'll never have to buy a drink.
No, too right.
Because for someone who's meant to be, who could easily hide behind a door, he's out there on that front line. He is a fucking legend.
All of them. It's like fair fucking play.
And it's like I see like videos like the fathers like hugging and kissing their wives and kids before putting them on a train so they can get away, and they're staying. You've got to be some sort of fucking. You've got to be a hard man.
Yeah.
To do that, because you just know that could very well be the last time you see him. And the thought of that is just heartbreaking. Yeah, absolutely heartbreaking.
But like I was getting at, it makes sense when you look at what their parents or grandparents or whatever went through with Chernobyl.
Yeah,
it's like if they're willing to do that, I'm willing to fucking stand it. Yeah. But because as well, you look at the even bigger picture. They did that. Like, all these people stopped Chernobyl, but who was at fault? The Soviet Union. What's happening now? Russia. It's like, you cunts have tried to fuck us up before. Yeah. You ain't doing it again. So it's like, fair fucking play. Take my hat off. Any Ukrainians listening or anyone, I fucking take my hat off to the lot of you.
100%. And we're not saying that all Russians are bad.
No, because the majority of the Russian public didn't want this. The majority of the Russian soldiers didn't want this.
No. We're not slandering all of Russia.
No,
it's just the people that's controlling.
Yeah, it's the people in charge.
Yeah,
they're the ones that are the arseholes here.
Yeah, 100%.
No, Russian people, fair play, because you don't want it just as much as Ukraine don't.
No.
But obviously Ukraine are the ones that are putting their lives on the line to save their country. It's like fair fucking play.
Yeah.
It's almost like you get a modern day look at what it was like for our grandparents and that during the Second World War.
Yeah.
It's almost like a look in their eyes. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, it's like they done that. They defended their country. And they're doing the exact same thing. It's like, do you know what? Fair fucking play.
Yeah, because I remember my old man telling me about his dad. Like, he didn't have to go to war.
No.
He could have, because my great-great-granddad, he had lorries. He had, like, tipper lorries and stuff like that. And he didn't have to go. But he said, nah, all my boys are going. I'm fucking going. To have that kind of mentality.
It's insane.
To say, like, no, I'm not leaving my mates behind. I'm going, even though I could very well not come back. I mean, thank God he did.
Yeah.
Obviously, because I'm here.
Well, yeah.
But you've got to have some mentality.
You really have.
That
it just goes to show when you see, like, it pisses me off when you see it a lot on Facebook and that, where you got, like, your parents or whatever sharing stupid fucking pictures. But at the same time, they're right, where it's like, there's such a massive difference between this generation and the last.
Oh, yeah.
They were just a different breed.
Oh, 100%. Like, they stood for what was right and what's wrong. To then have twats like that cunt in fucking Texas going to shoot like school kids.
Yeah, bang on.
It just shows, like, where have we gone wrong?
Yeah.
Do you know
it's
what I mean?
It's like they put their lives down on the line. And not just through the World War, but through things like Chernobyl or things like Ukraine. They're doing it because they obviously, A, want their country to be safe, but B, they want a place safe for their children.
Yeah.
It's almost like when you look at things like you said with that guy that done the shooting and that, it's almost like we're spitting in their face.
Yeah.
It's like, you did this, so we have the right to do this, and now we're going to just shove it back in your face and do the polar opposite. It's like, at this rate, when you see shit like that, it's like, Hitler might as well have won.
Yeah.
He might as well have. It can't get fucking worse.
No, because
I mean, it can, but you know what I'm getting
I know
at.
exactly what you're saying, because we're just doing it to ourselves.
Exactly.
And it's just sad. Like, I remember, like, even today, like, I was speaking about, like, Texas shooting with my sister and that. And I mean, I've got my niece and everything who I adore. Like, she has me in tears nearly every time I see her, because I treat her like she's my own.
Yeah.
And my sister got really emotional, like, about, like, what happened. She just can't comprehend the thought of that happening to her.
Yeah.
And even I got it choked up.
Yeah, it's just
because if anything,
it's not far from reality. No, do you know what I mean? It's the simple fact is of a country we were born in. If you was born in US, that very well could have happened.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's so mad to think.
And it kind of makes you scared to have kids.
Yeah.
It makes you scared to have kids, because then there's always that chance that even like with England, like there's such like a gang thing.
Yeah. Well, yeah, like you just said, I'm so thankful, like I just said, with being born in this country. Even born in like a town like here.
Yeah.
And not being born in somewhere like London, where it's just rife with like the whole postcode wars and all that shit.
Yeah.
Stabbing each other over where you live. It's like, what the actual fuck?
And it's just, it's the thought, like, every day, like, getting that phone call, something's happened. It's terrifying, really.
It really is.
Like, at the minute, I'm being ignorant is bliss, because I think that won't happen.
Yeah.
But in reality, and I think everyone is.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's like, I don't think that's unnatural, because you can't go through life fearing what could happen, because then you're not going to live in your life.
No, exactly.
That's why when you see so many people say live your life to the fullest, because you really never know whether it's a murder, whether it's a car accident, whether it's a fucking nuclear disaster.
Yeah.
It can just go like that.
Yeah. You got to live every day like it's your last. And I think since COVID, I have really tried to do that.
Yeah. That's been a major wake-up call.
Yeah, I have really tried. Like I say, during lockdown and that, like I had 8 weeks off work, and the first 2 weeks buzzed.
Yeah,
because I thought because people who know me, I've always worked since I was a little kid.
Yeah,
I've always had my hands. I've always been doing something.
Yeah,
but then having them 2 weeks where I could literally do fuck all, I was buzzing.
Yeah,
because I actually but then out of that, that's when fucking demons started knocking. Boy.
Yeah.
Really fucking bad. And to get that phone call to say come back to work, it was honestly like winning the fucking lottery.
Yeah.
Just to go to work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
it was such a weird thing being trapped in your house.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, it was nice during the first lockdown, like summer, so we'd go in the gardens and that. But that's the time where you want to be at the pub with your mates, or you want to have barbecues and shit like that. You can't do you couldn't do none of that.
Honestly, that was one of the worst bits. I couldn't see you with any of the others.
Because even though we like all of us lot, we all like done a FaceTime like group chat and thing. It just weren't the same, not even remotely.
No, it weren't the same. We tried, but it just was easy.
I remember clear as day the first time we all met up after lockdown and we all just hugged each other.
Yeah.
And it was one of the warmest embracing feelings I've ever had in my life.
I nearly fucking roared.
Innit? You're like,
I'm not ashamed to say it. I wouldn't say I give off like that kind of thing, but I was probably like not a manly man, like, but
I know
what
you mean.
A man's man.
Yeah.
Like, fuck off. Like,
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Honestly, that point, seeing my boys, I could have roared.
Yeah. It was just like, because as well, I think, we was in lockdowns and things, but there was still that point of, you still had that, like, thing in the back of your mind where it's like, I might never see them again, because if they get it, they could potentially die. Because we didn't have a vaccine back then either.
That's right.
So it's like, if they get it, they could die from that. I may never see them again.
I always had that fear as well, because I'm a bit overweight. And
same.
And we're heavy smokers.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking,
I
get it,
I'm fucked.
Yeah.
Royally fucked.
I'm proper fucked. And I thought, so it was just that fear. And I had that, even when we could meet up, I still had that fear.
Yeah.
Of, I don't want to get it.
Well, it was like, literally, I know it was compulsory, but even literally if I was just taking my dog for a walk, I still wore a mask.
Yeah.
I was like, I am not risking getting this fucker. And like, just lather yourself in bloody sanitizer and everything. Yeah. You're like, I'm not taking that risk.
It's only been like the last few months where I've stopped doing that.
Yeah, same.
Really has. And like, thank God we've got these vaccines.
Yeah.
Boosters. Yeah, don't get me wrong, they haven't been 100% squeaky clean.
No, of course they haven't. But what vaccine isn't?
No, that is true. But that's saved humanity.
Yeah,
in a way.
It really has. And the fact as well, I think this was mad as well, because we've had bird flu, we've had swine flu, we've had the Ebola and that. But how worldwide this was, and how quick it went worldwide, it was so mad. Like, 100% our kids or grandkids are going to learn about this in school.
Yeah,
100%. And the fact, it's like when you think, so I think most people, when they went to school, they learned about like World War II and things like that. And then you think, my grandparents lived through that. And to think that our kids or whatever are going to learn about COVID and things like that, and we've lived through that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And like you say with Ukraine, even probably like school shootings, stuff like that, they'll probably have to learn stuff like that. Of course.
My sister does.
Yeah.
When she was, I think it's the same for Clarkson. I don't know if they've done it fully yet, but when she was at Ramnorth, which is a primary school / elementary school, they had to learn about what to do if the school went into lockdown for a shooter or whatever. In fact, they done a lockdown routine because there was a rumour going about that someone was around the area with a gun.
Yes, it was. Yeah.
And the school went into lockdown. They messaged like my mum and all the parents saying, okay, school's gone into lockdown. Don't panic. Everything's secure. And I remember asking my sister, and she said, I was like, well, what did you have to do? They said, well, they locked all the doors. They pulled all the blinds down, and they made us hide under all the desks. And they said they put the teacher's desk by the door, and basically just hid under all the desks. I was like, that's fucking terrifying. Yeah. Because I never had to do that sort of shit at school.
No.
And it's like, if they're having to do that, what the fuck's it going to be like in the future with our kids?
Yeah.
And that. It's like, it's fucking insane.
The thing is, because they're so innocent, they just think it's like a game.
Yeah.
They don't know the severity of it.
No. I don't think in my time at school, okay, yeah, we trained for it, like practice drills and that, but I don't even think there was a genuine fire alarm once at my school.
No. I think we had once, and that was only a kitchen fire.
Yeah. See, we had nothing like that. Okay, yeah, like we did practice drills. What school doesn't?
Oh, or you get like twats who kept doing it.
Oh, breaking the fucking alarms and shit.
Honestly, we had one day, and I think it was like a country record of how many times.
Really?
Yeah, because it went like twice every lesson.
Oh, fuck
and
me.
50-minute lessons, so it's twice every time. And then in the afternoon, we had like this big assembly about how serious it is. As soon as we was walking out, got hit.
Oh, brilliant!
and I just remember hearing the teacher who done like the presentation just scream. And we were like, "What?" That's a proper like fuck you kind of thing, weren't it?
And now it's like it baffles. Like, yeah, okay, like you just said with that sort of story. When your kids, you fanny around, you play about. Do you know what I mean? What kid don't? But when you're grown up now at our age, just like, and you look back at how severe all this shit is, and protection wise and everything. Yeah. It's like the schools were fucking like in London's and places like that with metal detectors in. Yeah. Because kids are taking knives into school. It's like, what happened? No. When did this become the norm?
Exactly. Like when I was a kid, I was always brought up: if you're gonna have a fight, use your fists.
Yeah. Straight up.
And when the lad goes down,
you let him get back up. It was almost like old traditional traveller-esque. Where, do you know what I mean? It was like, you had your differences. If you couldn't solve it, you had a fight. Like you said, you let him get back up. You keep going until one of you gives up or one of you's not out or whatever. Yeah. And then the next day, you'd be like best mates. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
The loser buys the winner a pint.
Yeah.
That was it, yeah. That's the right way.
Yeah,
that's
it really is.
Way. I mean, I'm not saying fighting's a good thing.
Of course it's not. If
that's the only reason why you can think you're going to solve it,
then fair enough. Because
use your fucking fists, mate.
Yeah.
You can't use your fists, you're a pussy.
Yeah.
Don't care.
Yeah, no, fucking right. You're exactly right. If you go anywhere with a weapon, and the problem is, like, so many people, especially like in London with knives and that, they always say it's because of protection and that. But then the statistics show that you're more likely to be stabbed with your own weapon than you are for someone else to stab you. Yeah. Because the problem is, I can't remember, it was in a film or a TV show that I saw it. It's like, you go out with a knife, someone's going to come looking for you with a knife. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? They're always, because it's a catch-22. It's like, well, he's got a knife to protect himself. If he's going to use it on me, I'm going to fucking have a knife to use on him. And that's how it just rolls and rolls and rolls and rolls.
And I could see it in a few years where guns are going to come back. That's the sad reality of it is.
Yeah, it really is.
It is going to start going like that, and then
because
what?
Even though, it's difficult to get a gun here legally, it's still not hard to get one illegally.
No,
everyone knows some fucker that can get hold of something.
Yeah, that's right, and it is fucking scary, really.
It is. It's terrifying. That's why I'm glad we live in such a rural little town.
Yeah,
where shit like that. Yeah, okay, we have. I don't think we've ever, in my lifetime, had a proper gun problem. There's no one been like going about shooting or anything like that.
No, we've had knives and stuff.
Yeah,
like
there's been knife crime and things like that, but there's never been. It recurs not rarely, but do you know what I mean? It's not common.
No.
Like you can go months, if not years, without having one. Then out of nowhere there'll be like a few here or there.
Yeah.
But do you know what I mean? It's just blissful. Not blissful. What's the word I'm looking for? Quite easing, knowing where we live, that it's not that common.
Yeah.
It's like, if you live in a major city, I dread to think what the fuck it's like.
I couldn't do it.
I couldn't do it.
But for them, it's their way of life, isn't it?
Yeah, it's all
they're used to it.
And the sadness of it is as well, the 9 times out of 10 is because of poverty and shit. Because they can't get jobs and things like that. And then you see all these fucking wannabe gangster hard bastards walking about, and they're like, they've got the big chains and the nice cars and all that shit. And you think, I want that. It's a grooming thing, isn't it? You think, I want that. It's like, well, come under my wing, and before you know it, you fucking have it.
Yeah.
Little do you know what you're about to fucking do.
This is what you have to do,
Yeah.
No, it's fucked, mate. The world's fucked.
It really is.
People are fucked.
It really, really is.
And I know we've gone a bit off topic, but you could take it back to fucking Chernobyl. Like, the people there were fucked. Like, the people in charge of that, they were fucked. Get in charge of the Soviet Union, like, they were fucked.
Yeah.
What they done to Belarus.
Exactly, that's disgusting.
And even on a smaller scale, like what we've been having to go through with cities and like with Texas.
Yeah,
it's just fucked.
It's like I've said it. So I've been saying it ever since the terrorist attack in Paris. This world needs a fucking reset button.
It really does. I thought I was to say with Paris and with the Ariana Grande concert.
Which, oh mate, And that was 5 years ago the other day, wasn't it?
Yeah. I mean, I remember fucking when that happened. I was distraught.
I was disgusted.
But I mean Ariana Grande. She's quite young still, but
yeah,
she was younger then, and she was devastated. Like, rightly so. But then Jason Manford said, "Don't be so heartbroken.
No,
you gave them kids the best thing." They could go.
But then, like I said, with everything whenever something happens of the worst humanity, it always shows you the best.
Yeah.
Because Ariana Grande could have easily gone away, felt sorry for herself, and just, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Within a week, she'd organised that massive concert.
Yeah. And
got everyone involved with it, as many people as they can. I mean, for fuck's sake, they got Liam Gallagher involved.
Yeah.
Ariana Grande got Liam Gallagher to do a concert.
Yeah.
Whenever else in life would that happen?
It was in Manchester. It had to.
Yeah.
But it, like you said, it gives you hope as well. Like, at the time when you hate humanity, they just bring it back and they think it's not that bad.
Whenever it was that Manchester one, especially, I remember they had a minute's silence in the town centre for all the victims and everything. And some guy started just randomly singing, only quietly, "Don't Look Back in Anger" by Oasis. And before you know it, the entire city was singing it.
Yeah, and
it's like,
makes the hairs on the back of your neck stand.
Yeah, you're like, that's the human race you want to represent. Yeah. That's the fucking people where you look at, you're like, I love this planet.
Yeah.
And then you got cunts like that guy in Texas.
Yeah.
That thinks, why do we bother?
The human mentality intrigues me.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm trying to look. I've been trying to think, being in his eyes. He got in that classroom, and he looked at them kids, crying, screaming, and he thought, "I'm gonna shoot these." What made him think that? It's just fucking. It's fucked.
It really is.
It's getting me fucking angry just thinking about it. What? There's no words. I don't know.
You don't know what to say, do you?
It's just disgusting. And
it's fucked. There's always some dark fuckers in the world.
Yeah.
Always has been, always will be. It's just it's just a case of you've got to live your life of being without sounding fucking preachy, but the light will outshine the dark. You just
always dark before the dawn.
Yeah. You've always got to look at it.
Yeah.
The better things in life, because otherwise you are going to drive yourself to insanity if you just focus the world on darkness. And that's why I rarely watch the news.
Yeah.
Because it's so just dark and gloomy and horrible.
Same with soaps.
Yeah. I know some soaps, I get, I don't watch any soaps myself, but I get some of the storylines they're doing because it's getting awareness out there. Yeah. So it's like, okay, fair enough. But then when you see them doing the same thing time and time and time and time again, it's like, for fuck's sake.
Yeah, it's just depressing.
Just one and done. That's all you need. Get it out there. People know about it. And it's done.
Have some fucking good things happen.
Ain't it?
Because, it's...
I mean, you want dark shows and things like that. There's shows already out about that sort of thing. I.e., you got your Walking Dead, okay, it's zombies, but it's still a post-apocalyptic world. You've got Game of Thrones, families killing each other left, right, and centre. You've got Sopranos. Do you know what I mean? There's TV shows for every single thing. But so many soaps and TV shows nowadays, it's just so dark and depressing, and you're like, for fuck's sake, what happened to a good old-fashioned Only Fools and Horses?
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly it.
What happened to a good old-fashioned sitcom?
Yeah, where you get in from work or whatever, you sit there, have your tea or dinner, whatever you fucking call it, and you put that on and you just feel happy.
Yeah, even if you've seen that episode, I've seen every episode of Only Fools and Horses 10 times over.
Yeah, easily.
And they still kill me to this day because it's just comical genius. Yeah, and you just feel good about yourself.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And they need to bring something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, they've tried with In-Betweeners, Gavin and Stacey, Friday Night Dinner. For me personally, they just never hit.
I think without upsetting people, I think it's because the world's gone too PG. You can't get away with that sort of shit. You look at our generation, especially if you're in the UK, we have things like Little Britain.
Yeah.
Everyone loved that show, and no one ever thought. Myself as a black man, when you see him doing blackface, or do you know what I mean, or mentioning black people in a derogatory, I never once thought, you racist cunts. I thought, you funny fuckers.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because you weren't so, I hate to say it, but you weren't so snowflakey.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's like, just fuck off.
Yeah.
You do just want to look at them as like, seriously, piss off.
Yeah.
It's like there's a limit. I've always said it, like, life's 20 years ago was so far one way, where it was like male orientated, and it was this, and you know, okay, you had racist remarks and all that sort of shit, and we've tried to rectify it so much that we've backflipped and gone the other way.
Yeah.
That we've gone too far the other side of the spectrum, where you can't even say cunt without upsetting someone.
Yeah, no.
And you're like, what the fuck happened?
Yeah, that is it. You get worried just what to say.
Yeah. I mean, it pisses me off. I have some people, and I know they don't mean it like how it comes across, but I've had people like when we've been at the pub and that, and like someone will say, "Oh, you black fucker" or something like that. And anyone knows me, I've grown up with racist remarks from that. Okay, yeah, it's not nice, but I've grown up with it where I'm like, you could call me any name under the sun, and I wouldn't bat an eyelid. I just be like, yeah, well done. I just be like, yeah, well done. 10 out of 10 for observation. I am black. Right, nice one. Move on.
Yeah.
Won't let it dwell on me. But it pisses me off more when where there's people in the pub or people come up and it's like, oh, that don't offend you, does it? Or what should I call you? What do you prefer? Do you prefer black, or do you think that's racist? It's just like, fuck off. You're pissing me off more than it would if someone come in and said, well, go on, nigga. It's like, you're pissing me off more, mate. Stop belittling me. I'm still a fucking human being.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's right, mate. Nah, I don't. Thing is, though, I think if anyone like tried to be racist, like, especially how quick you are, you'd make them kill themselves.
That's what I remember. Like I said, the last time someone was actually proper racist to me, I can't remember what he called me. I think it was just like, you black cunt or something.
When was this?
Oh, ages ago.
Oh.
Ages and ages ago. But I think I just remember just going, nah, I'm not black. Am I?
Yeah.
Just looking at my skin like...
Made him look right.
Yeah. It's like, there's no point rising to it because then they win.
Yeah.
It's the old common terminology with bullies. It's like people say stand up to a bully. It's like, yeah, okay, you can stand up to a bully and you should, but then you're probably going to get your head kicked in. Just don't let it get to you.
No.
I know it's easier said than done, but the minute you learn to have a thick skin, your life becomes so much easier because nothing can get to you.
100%.
Nothing in the slightest can get to you.
Yeah.
Because you're just like, right, all you're doing is proving to everyone around you that you're a massive knob.
Yeah.
It's like, you're not affecting me. I'm not going to go home crying to my mum saying, why is life so bad?
Yeah.
I'm just going to be like, yeah, cool, yes. You call me a nigger, I am a nigger. Well done. Run along. Like, what do you want me to do? Fucking hit you?
Yeah.
What's that going to solve?
Yeah, exactly. But I'd say there's too many like extremist sides.
Yeah. The whole left be the right.
Yeah.
So what happened to just humans?
Yeah.
Why is there a left? The whole thing with the left and the right pisses me off because they don't care either way. The right are saying they want it because it's the old way and our way and blah blah blah. If you don't like it, fuck off. And the left way is saying, do you not realise you're just being racist and misogynist and bigots and all that sort of thing? But it's like, you don't really care either side of you, do you?
No,
you just want to win one up on the other ones. Yeah. That's all it wants. You want a retaliation from them.
Yeah. It's just try to go on the high horse.
Yeah. It's like, fucking just settle down. Realise that you're all the same people. You've all got the one life. You're all gonna you've all lived. You're all gonna die. You all still need to eat. You all still need to drink. Just get on with your life.
Yeah.
Stop being so melodramatic about every little fucking thing that happens.
Exactly.
And if them sort of situations were resolved, I think it would then end up as a domino effect, where you wouldn't have so many, i.e., like shootings. You wouldn't have so many stabbings. You wouldn't have so many of all this other thing.
Yeah.
Because people would actually get along.
Yeah.
You look at countries like Sweden or New Zealand or Switzerland, places like that. When was the last time you heard of a mass shooting in Switzerland or Sweden or a big racist movement in any of them countries? It never happens.
No.
Because they're all just, do you know what I mean? I live my life, you live your life, do whatever you want, happy days, we all get on, lovely jubbly.
Yeah. Oh, fucking too, right. I'd love to go to places like that. Just, see different ways of living. And
it's incredible.
Yeah, because in Switzerland or Finland or somewhere like that, it's like the safest place to live.
Yeah. I think one of them as well, I think it might be Finland or something like that, got the longest life expectancy as well.
Yeah.
Well, one of them, because I think China's got the longest.
Have they?
Apparently. How, I don't know.
Have they?
But they haven't got the life expectancy, but the average age of life is up to 100.
Oh, yeah.
In one of them. It's like, it's very, very rare if you don't reach 100 in one of them countries.
Yeah. Okay, now. But yeah, what we're saying here, like, we've been given a chance by the brave people of Chernobyl.
Yeah.
Just live it. Just live your life.
And not just Chernobyl. With every disaster, every terrorist attack, everything, people have done something, maybe not to prevent it, but they've done something to battle against it, shall we say. And all you're doing, especially with like the world wars and all that sort of thing, they're laying down their life
Don't let them die
for you to live yours. And you, like you just said, you let them die in vain.
Exactly.
Fucking live your life to the fullest, because you never know when you're at the big pearly gates or whatever. Do you really want to look back and go, "Huh, what the fuck did I do in my life?"
Exactly.
Whereas if you go, "I lived every day how I wanted to,"
yeah, I want to lay there on my deathbed or whatever. I think I've loved my life.
Yeah, I wouldn't have changed a single, even the darkest moments of my life. Yeah. I wouldn't have changed a single one because it's made me the person I am today.
Yeah, I've had a fucking good laugh. I've had a good crack. I'm pleased I've lived my life though. And exactly. I think that's why I've been so pleased with us getting this, doing this podcast and everything like that. Yeah. Because for so long, my love for cryptozoology, especially, and all things creepy, but cryptozoology, it's such like a taboo subject. Yeah. If I go to anyone would say normal, but say I think there could be a Bigfoot out there. They look at you like you're a fucking idiot. Yeah. And I always kept that to myself, kind of thing. I was always a bit until one day I just went, you know what, fuck it. Yeah.
It's what I like. Yeah. It's what I want to do.
It makes me.
Yeah. If you don't like it, well, it's not your fucking problem, is it?
No.
It's leave me to live my life. Yeah. Why should you have a problem with what I enjoy?
And and I was getting down. I was getting really down, especially at the start of the year. This year, I was hitting a really low spell, and with then getting starting this podcast, it's gave me my drive back. Yeah, it's gave me my love for living. Yeah, I love life at the minute.
Yeah, exactly.
And I owe it to this podcast, and I owe it to you, my boy.
Vice versa.
I owe it to all my boys and my beautiful girlfriend, who's soon to be wife. Yeah. And now I'm gonna live my life to the full. Yeah. You got to.
You have to. There's no two ways about it.
Yeah, because there could be another Chernobyl.
There could be, exactly. You just don't know what's around. No one 3 years ago could have predicted COVID. No. No one. Who's to say, well, there's already this monkeypox virus going about. Yeah. Who's to say there ain't in the next couple of years going to be another major thing? Yeah. And this one, hopefully not, but it could wipe out the majority of the planet.
Exactly.
You just don't know.
You just got to, But there's no point dwelling on it. No point thinking about it.
No.
I think your life is going to be hunky-dory.
Yeah, of course.
And go for it until it happens, then you fucking deal with it.
And no one's life's not going to have stumbling blocks. There's always going to be roadblocks. There's always going to be hurdles.
Oh, 100%.
It's how you get up and deal with it. That's the true aspect of life.
We both, in our own ways, we've had fucking plenty of them.
Exactly.
I've had plenty.
We could have a whole podcast each talking about our fucking life's history. Yeah. Jesus Christ.
But fucking just now, it's made us who we are.
Yeah.
And I'm at that point now. If people don't like that, I go fuck themselves.
Yeah. I'm so proud of myself. In it. Whereas I think back a few years ago, and I'm like, oh, do you know what I mean? Feeling sorry for myself. Let me get my mini violin out. Yeah. And now I think, no, do you know what? If anyone don't like me, I couldn't give a rat's ass. Because the people that do like me, great. You like me, I like you. Simple as that.
Yeah, exactly. Because for both of us, because of how the image is now of a man, of a person, we're not that. Let's be honest.
No,
I'm a bit chunky and everything. And there was a time I was right fucking. You know that bit in Austin Powers with Fat Bastard?
Yeah.
When he said, I'm sad because I eat, but
I eat because I'm sad. Yeah.
I relate to that so much because I do that. When I feel shit about myself, I eat.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, and then I have to go have a word with myself.
Yeah, you're like,
I go, you fat cunt.
Yeah.
Look at you. Look at the state of you. Sort yourself out. And then I go and have a Big Mac.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't help myself.
No.
And I've had that, a few people who I've either worked with in the past or people I've known, they drilled that into me, what even are you? You're never going to be happy in life.
Yeah.
You get shredded. And now I'm you know what, fuck it.
Yeah.
I have got a bit of a gut. I don't care.
Yeah. And that's not taking the piss out of people that are shredded and that, because that's your passion. If you're an avid gym goer and you want to be like ripped and like look like a Greek god or whatever, if that's your passion, that's what you want to do, fair fucking play.
Yeah, it's like that shame.
Yeah, it's like that doesn't give you the right to ridicule me because of how I look. Same as it doesn't give me the right to ridicule you how you look.
No, yeah, because I mean, when I was 18, 19, I was a big gym goer.
Yeah.
I got quite fucking like decent shape.
Yeah.
I was right pleased. Then relationships happened, and I was able to drive, and KFC brought out before, and they all went tits up. And sometimes I look back on them pictures, I'm like, fucking hell, if I kept up to it, I could be decent. But then as well, I wouldn't be me then.
No.
And I like who I am.
Yeah, now. Exactly.
You know, let's say I've got some of the bestest mates anyone could ever ask for, and I would die for my boys.
Yeah,
I'd have
100%.
And that's just me being me.
Yeah,
it's not me being a fucking like either Eddie Hall or like like
Thor or something like that. Yeah,
it's just me. Me Eddie.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Exactly. But it's like I also look at, because I always say you got to look at positives rather than negatives. And, like, when I think back, when I was, like, real bad with anxiety and I never went out, or, like, when you boys went clubbing, or when you went to Bulgaria, and I was meant to go. And I've always said that's the biggest regret I've had in my life. But at the same time, I don't think I'd be where I am now if I didn't have that moment. Because now it's like, I used to be, I'd say anxiety, but I wouldn't say frightened in that sense, but, like, anxiety frightened of even going to places like the pub like we do.
Yeah,
and I'm so glad I did, because we've met some really good mates there.
Yeah, we have. Yeah,
some of the best mates. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, top people.
People that a few years ago, in my old self, I wouldn't have even bothered fucking thinking twice about.
No.
Do you know what I mean? I was like, oh, you're a twat, and walked off. Not saying they are. No, I'm just saying. Do you know what I mean? You look at someone and you think twat.
Yeah, if you don't already know them.
Yeah, you just think, oh, fuck off.
Yeah.
Now, they're fucking brilliant. The lot of them.
Yeah, exactly. And it's mad how life does that to you.
Yeah.
And I think, like, even though, like again, we're going off topic, but like you could always relay it to stuff like that, because what it could have been like.
Yeah, exactly.
And now how it is, you have got to enjoy it.
You really do,
because you just don't know. Like, I could go to work Monday, hit a cable, and blow up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's little stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I'm not worried about it, because I just know at that moment in time, I thought, wow, I'm good at it.
Yeah, exactly.
While I've been here. So.
And that also shows as well, going off that, the whole live life to the fullest thing. Because if, for argument's sake, say like that happened, and we weren't doing this podcast, but we had it in like the plans, because we were planning on it for a year. So let's say we were still planning on it. I would have then sat there and thought, fuck, we never got to do that. And now we never will. But if that happened now, obviously I'd still be fucking heartbroken. Yeah. But it'd be a case of, at least we did it.
Yeah.
At least it may not.
You'd have to carry it on, though.
Of course I fucking would. And vice versa. If I popped it, I'd want you to fucking carry it on.
Oh, yeah. I wouldn't know what fucking who to talk to, though. But no, like, if you want to get anything out of this podcast, what we've done today, even though we've done it on a tragic event, what happened at Chernobyl, but what we've got is the people that helped it, that like stopped it in a way, gave their lives, and they must have lived life to the full to be able to have that mentality to do that. So just do it. Just
fucking do right.
I'm not gonna go fuck a Shia LaBeouf.
Make your dreams come true.
You know, I'm not gonna go all that, but just enjoy yourself.
Enjoy life.
You've got
There's one job, not even just from this episode, but from every episode. Just enjoy life.
Yeah.
Please, for fuck's sake.
Yeah. And enjoy this podcast.
Yeah, too right. Do that more, actually.
Yeah.
But no, I think that wraps it up for this one.
Yeah, I think if we're not podcasters, we should be motivational.
Yeah, fucking hell. But then if the thing is, right, if anyone met us, or like our mates and that know the true us, they'd be like, nah. Motivational speakers, you're mad.
Yeah. Fucking hell. No, I don't know. I think we're all joking at, but when someone needs us...
Oh, we're there like a shot.
Yeah, like we've always said, we're like the big brothers, me and you.
Yeah.
We're always at like that shoulder.
Yeah.
Someone needs to have a tear. We're always that bit of advice, what we can give.
Yeah.
We'll always be like that.
Yeah, exactly.
And
I'm fucking proud to be that as well.
100%.
I buzz off it.
And that's even our listeners.
Yeah.
You know, like, if you just... even if you don't want to reply, if you just want to have a little vent...
Yeah.
Fuck it.
Just do it.
Yeah, we're not going to share it. We're not
of course we're not.
We're not that way inclined. You know, because it's just such... It is a fucked world.
It is. And everyone needs that someone to talk to.
Yeah.
And even if you can't talk to your family or your friends, like Ed said, if you can't talk to your family or your friends, or there's no one for to talk to, just message us. If you want to reply with us, we'll more than happily reply.
If not, just to get it out your system. Yeah, because
it ain't going anywhere. But if you want it to go on the podcast, we'll oblige. But if you don't, that's your prerogative. We won't put it on there. Of course we won't.
And I think as well, because I wouldn't say I was brought up like it, but I think it was because how the generations were. Anytime I had problems, I bottled them up.
Yeah.
And I still do. It's something I can't control.
Yeah.
But I think now there is times where I've spoken with Courtney, especially because I'm with her every day. Mm-hmm. And I've started talking more, and that has helped leap the bounds.
It's tenfold.
Yeah, because I've always been like everyone knows me. It's like I'm a proud person.
Yeah.
You know, like nothing gets me down or anything like that. When most of the time, like I say, there's times where I'm waking up at like 1-2 o'clock in the morning, fucking sweating, and I'm have like bad panic attacks, and stuff like that. But I won't tell anyone. Which, even I'm telling random people on here, like I don't care. Like, but it's just like even like saying it out loud, even if it's to no one, just saying it out loud, it does help.
Yeah, it really does.
It's okay.
It's really okay
not to be okay.
Yeah.
It's that whole thing.
Yeah.
It is okay not to be okay, but just don't do anything daft.
No, please don't.
Fucks.
Please don't.
Just have a fucking laugh.
Yeah, exactly. Too right.
Episode of Only Fools and Horses, you'll be right.
Yeah, and if you're from America and you've never watched that show, educate yourself, please. Or if anywhere around the world, actually, not just America. If you've never seen Only Fools and Horses, educate yourself. You won't regret it. No, 100%. One of the best TV shows of all time.
Oh, 100%.
Okay, there's a lot of British humour in there you might not get, but then the sub is just fucking golden. But yeah, that wraps it up for Chernobyl. What's the next one, Ed?
I think the next one is we're going back to America.
Yeah.
We're going like more Utah and Nevada.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to talk about the Navajo myth called the Skinwalker.
Right.
Which they do not speak of.
Oh, really?
They are terrified. They do not even speak of its name.
Oh, mad.
Yeah, so it's a Skinwalker. And also I will mention about Skinwalker Ranch.
Right.
Which is there. Which, funnily enough, ain't got a lot to do with actual skinwalkers. There is some cases, but it's more paranormal.
Oh, really?
And it's more aliens.
So, decent.
Yeah, so you'll get onto that.
Happy days.
But yeah, so I think and it's been not a little phenomenon, but it's been like quite big on like especially like TikTok, YouTube, places like there. Like skinwalkers are getting mentioned quite a lot.
Oh, mad.
But so yeah, I'm looking forward to that one.
Yeah.
I know Courtney is because we've watched videos about it and stuff like that. And she said that'll be an interesting one.
Oh, decent.
Yeah. So that'll be our next one.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much for listening to this one. Be sure to follow us on Facebook and Instagram, which is Myths and Mysteries, all one word, _.
That's on Instagram. On Facebook, it's Myths and Mysteries in black and white.
Yeah. Email us at mythsandmysteries@outlook.co.uk. And follow us. So yeah, subscribe to the YouTube channel as well as follow us on our respective podcast sites, which are the originals, which are your Podbean, your Spotify, and your Amazon. We are now also on iHeartRadio, Player FM, Samsung Podcasts, and Podchaser. So there's even more ways to find us now.
Yeah, and share them to your friends and your family, or anyone you might know who likes anything creepy, mysterious, monsters, conspiracies, ghosts, serial killers, you name it.
And a partridge in a pear tree.
We will cover it at some point. And yeah, I hope you enjoy listening. Thank you ever so much for listening.
Yeah,
and we love you. We love it. And also, please still get in touch with us with some questions for our 23rd or whatever. Our last episode.
Season finale.
Yeah, we're going to do that. So, yeah, get us with your Q&A. And, and we'll see you on the next one on Mysteries in Black and White.
Bye.
See ya.